Anyways.
Hello.
Shalom. Barukuba. Welcome. Why am I lagging? Am I lagging for you?
Yes.
Wow. Bad. Oh, I'm still running my model. Hold on.
You're back.
Yeah, hold on. I'm doing the thing. There it goes. I was running an AI. It caused me to lag.
Are there any comments, or am I just?
It doesn't look like it from me.
Man, I thought for sure we were gonna get some late comments from Jack or something.
Yeah, Jack must not be here.
He's not here yet. Come on, Jack.
Damn, this is a first. I was super unprepared as well. Oh, there's one. Look at that.
Literally
broken. Literally just one. Let me go ahead and turn that on as well. I was not prepared. I was making pumpkin bread, so I haven't done any of the stream stuff yet. All streams is not Islam Bible, I guess. Yep. Save. All right, how you guys doing? You guys were debating something while I was putting up my bread.
No, we weren't debating.
No, yeah. We're just a discussion. But no, yeah, we're good. I'm good.
Yeah. We have broken fellowship.
Yeah, we were talking about the disbanding of Sons of Thunder. Actually,
right.
While you were.
Yeah. Join live as Sons of Thunder disbands.
No. Chris is actually mediating me and Chase's debate tonight. We're
having a falling out.
That is now the description of the stream, so that's definitely what has to happen. It has been set in stone, I think.
It's clickbait.
All right.
Literally.
Okay, how you guys doing?
I'm actually becoming an ortho bro.
Doing good.
Oh no.
No, God forbid. Not doing good. It's been a while since I've been on here with Chris.
Yeah,
it has
you've been sick. I've been. Am I still lagging? Yeah, hello, testing. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit, but it's not that bad.
Yeah, hold on,
dude. I'm so tired of the. While Chris is doing this, our topic tonight is on the supposed Bible contradictions. And so I just wanted to say, I'm looking for one right now. I had a comment a while back.
We're still looking.
Yeah. I had a comment a while back from a atheist, and we always get like the modern atheists because they've changed the meaning. They try to get away now with, oh, well, really, atheism, it's not a monolith, okay? Atheism is not a unified worldview like Christianity. So really, you can't criticize us about anything because we're not a worldview. It's just, we just don't think there's a God. And
of all...
And one of the guys I said, he tried essentially redefining atheist to mean agnostic. And I said, no, you would be agnostic. And he was like, no, you just don't understand. I was like, all right, you're making. I don't want to continue to have this conversation.
I feel like of the groups, atheists should be the most monolithic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but also I didn't even say this at the time, but I was like, Christianity's not monolithic. It's like we're
Right. Yeah. That's what
We're
that's understandable.
completely
right?
spread out, and everybody, even groups. Really, it's only Catholic. Even the Catholics have all the because I was gonna say, I mean, Eastern Orthodox has so many different like branches, but Catholicism, it still has
Eastern.
It's like
the
30.
Franciscans, the
Yeah.
There's the weird charismatic ones. I don't know if you know about those guys.
Yeah, and I'm not even considering like the SSPX or anything like that. I'm or the Sedevacantists, like just genuinely within Catholicism, they have orders, they have different
denominations.
They still unify, but even that I would say is not monolithic. So for someone to claim atheism's not monolithic like Christianity, for what are you talking about? You could have differences of opinion and be unified under your same view that we don't believe in God.
Yeah, other than some like really, really, really small cults, you're not going to find a religion that is actually like completely monolithic.
No.
Like even the cults like Jehovah's Witnesses, they're not monolithic. There's a bunch of denominations of Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah, Mormons.
I say a bunch. There's like 5, 6. Mormons.
There's fundamentalist groups within Mormonism. Yeah. Well,
yeah,
Mormons
the
wouldn't
one that
call them
owns
Mormons.
the Temple lot.
Yeah, the Reform or Reorganized Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
There's also one of these theists said, atheism makes no truth claims.
What an idiotic. That's just nonsense.
Said, if you are claiming there is no God, that is a truth claim. And he was like, no, it's just because we have no evidence. I was like, that's a claim.
That's a truth claim.
That is
a claim you have no evidence.
A claim.
Right.
That's so bad.
Right.
I don't
is the claim that they make no truth claims a true
claim?
Yeah.
Is it truth?
I don't think
what is
like
truth?
Older atheists.
What's a debate?
I feel like that wasn't as prevalent of a like just nonsense position as it is now. Like I think modern atheism has just created these really, really ridiculous positions.
Atheism's always.
I mean, it has been for decades. Well, to be fair, atheism in the 1800s was not nearly as bad as what it is now. It's really gone down the crack.
Just as wrong.
It's just as wrong. It was not nearly as stupid.
Right.
The modern new atheists, new agers,
right?
They're by far the dumbest version of atheist you could be.
Atheism is just postmodernism if it were a religion. And that's one of the reasons why, like you said, like the 1800s, that was like the end of the modern era. And so you're getting to people who are influenced by like the Enlightenment and stuff, and they're cool. They're not as bad. Their philosophy was still pretty bad, but their understanding wasn't as bad.
Ooh, I mean,
it led to some of the worst atrocities humanity's ever done,
and it was horrific, and still continues to be horrific. Why is it, atheist? Why is it? Why is that, atheist? Now, granted, Hitler was like a polytheist. I'm not sure that he was like an actual atheist. I'm not convinced Hitler was an atheist.
I would lean towards him being either an atheist or a self-worshipper, like a humanist, but like he's basically Satan. He's the religion of Satan, but Satan worships himself. I think Hitler a bit worshipped himself. He definitely wasn't a Christian.
Well, there was like Spinoza. He was a pantheist. He thought that like nature was God.
Right. So, that's different than a polytheist.
Right.
Yeah. You wouldn't call a Buddhist a polytheist.
Oh. What would you call it,
guys? I got it.
Well, a non-theist or a pantheist, depending on the type of Buddhist.
Did you find it, Andrew?
It took me a hot minute, but I was able to find the first thing I want to go over in the stream. I know we have that website to go to as well, but somebody So like 13 days ago, as I saw from the comment, somebody had commented that the Bible was full of contradictions and errors. And I said, do you want me to share my screen, or do you want me to just tell you?
Go for it.
Okay,
You can go share your screen.
I told them to. I commented again 13 days later, telling them we're live right now. so be nice. We're gonna be nice because they were. I don't really know if they were being rude or not. But let me see. Okay. And then is it Control Plus? Yeah.
Also, hit Control and scroll on your mouse wheel.
Oh. So, yeah. The Bible's full of errors. Why should we trust it? We've done a lot of videos. So when I got this, I was at work and I was like, dude, I cannot. I was like, the shift was about to start. So I said, I cannot engage with this right now. I was like, we've done a lot of videos. What specifically? And so this is what he started with. Some of these, I didn't even read them all in the moment, but because now I'm seeing like just straight up, the flood never happened. I just thought that was funny. But the placement, number, and appearance of the angels at the empty tomb are different in each gospel. Classic. The odor, which I'm going to assume order of creation in Genesis is wrong. I've heard this one before as well.
It's not a contradiction.
No.
Oh, I guess he said errors or contradictions, but okay.
The Bible says Tyre will never be rebuilt. Tyre was rebuilt. You completely
false. Yeah, I did a video on that actually.
Yeah, you did a video on that one specifically. I remember that. The flood never happened.
Demonstrably false.
Yeah, we at the very least have complete evidence for a localized flood, which I think we still have evidence for a global flood as well.
I don't think. While I appreciate the localized flood people's enthusiasm, I think that there is a good amount of evidence for a universal flood.
I agree.
The ark could never carry 2 of each animal and the required food.
That was first of all, that second part was part of the miracle, right? Even though it definitely could have also carried the food, that was part of the miracle. It's like it was funny because Muhammad just made up like, oh yeah, the pig went and ate all the poop, but it was just like, well, actually, it was the whole thing was a miracle. Okay,
right. I love the people who are like, oh, you need a naturalistic explanation for all the stuff happening within the ark. I'm like, what if God just put all the things in cryostasis? Like, there's no reason for them to need to like, especially because there's a bunch of things on the ark that don't live to be 1 year old. So if they're on the ship for a year, then either you have to have multiple generations of things being born and dying on the ark, or God just miraculously took care of it. Same like the situation and pee situation. Like 8 people can't tend to 40,000 animals.
That's the point.
For a year. It's like, okay, yeah, I agree.
They also couldn't have shut the door from the outside.
It's true. Yeah, whenever you look at a miraculous situation, you're like, oh, well, it has to be natural. Literally, that's the definition. That's why the definition of natural and supernatural came about. Right. Is that there's nature that dictates how things normally happen, and there's supernature, which can trump nature. That's the definition of supernatural. That's why Christians invented it, to explain stuff like that. That would be part of supernature, not nature. Very stupid. Anyway.
Let me know if you can hear Goose chewing on this bone.
No?
A little bit.
A little bit?
A little bit.
She just needs something to keep her occupied.
No, I understand.
She's got she's been off and on nursing her back right foot. And so I haven't taken her on walks because I'm afraid that whatever it is going to be made worse. So she's been cooped up and she's a little stir crazy. But all right, let's start with the first one.
Yeah, Oh yeah, no mind. I just realized that you guys answered number 6. Or you anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a error or a contradiction. It's just like, yeah, it's a miracle. That's part of the miracle. Thank you. eight people couldn't look after a stables of like 100 horses. We know that. That's not news.
Yeah. And so part of the explanation people typically give for the ark is also they were not adults, they were babies. So if they're babies, the vast majority of the big animals, their infancy stage is multiple years. So you would take on a baby elephant, you wouldn't take on a full-grown elephant, you would take on an egg or a baby sauropod, you wouldn't take on a full sauropod. So you have all of the dinosaurs and the mammals that are massive, just take babies of them because they're going to take a year to get up to their massive size anyway. And that becomes way easier for both the poop and the feeding and the water and like all the other situations. If you were to have it not be a miracle and you actually need an natural explanation for it, it could still be done with just infant animals. Or you can make a combination of the two and have infants that are then cryostasis by God miraculously for a year. Then they come off and they're ready to reproduce and live out their full lives. Because why in the world would God take full-grown things that would have shorter lifespans that would reproduce less on the ark than babies who have their entire reproductive life ahead of them off the ark? It's just, I don't know. People just they underestimate God's intelligence a lot and overestimate their own. And that is some of the biggest problems we see. Tyre for sure that ain't it, Chief. Not only have they been destroyed 11 times, every single time a settlement tried to be built on it, including like 6 times by Muslims by themselves, including the recent one. The most recent one was done by Muslims. So the last 6 times it was destroyed was by Muslims. Every single time there's been a major settlement that's been tried to be built on the island, it has been destroyed. Now the island doesn't even exist. Now there's a mainland city of Tyre that's there today. It's not the same Tyre. It's not the kingdom of Tyre. It's not the empire. It doesn't have the affluence. It doesn't have the wealth. It doesn't have any of that. It is not the same entity that exists. And it's not even in the same location. And there's nothing about it that are identical. If I were to name my kid Adolf Hitler, that would not turn him into some like monster baby. They're entirely different humans. Just because something's named the same thing doesn't mean it's the same thing. Tyre, the kingdom, the empire, the stronghold, one of the most powerful empires in history, that faded instantly. They never regained their wealth. They never regained their power. They were never influential again. They became basically a laughingstock, and then they literally became a bare rock that fishermen use to dry their nets. So it's actually a perfectly fulfilled prophecy in so many different ways, including the fact, if you actually read the text, it says that the stones of Tyre will be thrown into the sea. These are massive stones. Do you know why they were thrown into the sea?
Wasn't it Alexander the Great?
Yep. Alexander the Great believed he was either a descendant or a reincarnation of Hercules. There's differing reports. And because of that, he really liked all the Hercules statues, or Heracles for the Greeks. Heracles was who he thought he was. And there was a statue of Heracles on the island of Tyre. And he was like, hey, I want to go and worship it. Let me in a small militia of my army into your city, your fortified city, and I will worship him. I'll pay you a little bit of money, then I'll be on my way. They're like, no, you're going to try to conquer us, especially because he just conquered most of the world. And they're like, no, we don't trust you. You're going to kill us all. And he's like, that's offensive. And then they killed one of his messengers. And then he started a war that lasted, I believe, a decade or a little over a decade. And he sieged the city. He destroyed all of the abilities to leave it. But the city was so well funded and so well protected by the ocean and the sea, not the ocean, the sea. It's on the Mediterranean Sea. And they couldn't get to the island. The island was way too guarded, way too fortified. And his navy was not nearly as good as their navy. So he got demolished on the seas whenever he was trying to conquer it. So to get past that, the man got so salty, he literally moved. It was like 20,000 metric tons of stone of the old city because it was just destroyed by Nebuchadnezzar. It was left in ruins for over 100 years. And then he literally picked up the ruins of that city and threw it into a sea to make a 1 mile long bridge in the sea to connect the mainland to the island. That was long enough for 2 siege ramparts to go side by side onto it, or wide enough. So he made a like 60 foot, 80 foot, 90 foot wide, 1 mile long bridge that went down to the seabed of the Mediterranean. So the amount of rock needed to move that is insane. And yet he was so salty. The bridge was so impressive, it actually restructured the banks of the Mediterranean Sea for that whole region because the currents changed. So Alexander the Great did something so silly, so reckless, that he literally changed the shape of one of the biggest seas on the planet just to conquer one city because it offended him. And that is prophesied around 300 to 400 years before the event happened in the Bible. Beat for beat. And then afterwards, it is identical to what happened. They were conquered multiple times over and over again, every generation, until there's long periods of nothing, and then they try to build up again, and they got conquered again. So,
when then the one on the order of creation in Genesis being wrong, isn't the issue people point out there is that there's no water, so how can there be plant life?
No, it's not that there's no light, so how could there be plant life? Water was the first thing. The water covered the whole surface of the planet, and then
there have been no rain, but yes, yeah, because that's
right.
But yes,
but plants can exist without rain. Yeah,
right.
Just with a heavy dew. Well, there's actually people who debate on whether or not rain even existed until the flood, because of the wording of some of the text. That is I did a whole stream on just that that topic of
I personally exist. I personally side on that. The first rain was the flood, but
yeah. My only question for that would be, how did the poop go away? Because dead bodies that's easier, but how did the poop fully decompose without rain? And also like clean the settlements? But
God works in mysterious ways.
Again, anyway,
the pig.
This is one of the great mysteries of God.
Yeah, so they say that because the sun didn't exist until the 4th day, how could there be plants on the 3rd day? Because plants require the sunlight to make photosynthesis. And there's a couple different ways you can answer that. First off, it doesn't say that there's no light. There is still light. It's just not from the sun. It's from God and from all of matter. Now, it's not visible light that plants need for photosynthesis, but it's also the plants are only existing for a day. They can exist for a day without sunlight. Crazy. Anyway, but all plants can also receive photosynthesis from other forms of light. Specifically, God is our light on the new earth. He may have been the light for the first 3 days, and then he created the sun to govern the light. And then in the new earth, there is no sun, and God is the one governing the light himself directly. But you can also just say, whenever he said, let there be light, he was creating order, because all matter that exists is constantly emitting light at all times. And almost all of our biochemical processes are happening because of light. And depending on your view of physics, a lot of physics is only happening because of light as well. That's the whole electric universe view and electrically modified Newtonian dynamics, which is its own rabbit hole of possibility. But you could say that God basically turned on, like, let there be light was him turning on the laws of physics and the laws of nature. So he turned on nature, and then organization and structure came about. Before, it was nothing. It was just chaotic. It was no order, no structure. he said, "Let there be light." Then all of a sudden, order formed from that subsequently. So he may have been turning on the laws of physics and chemistry. And then day 3, he created plants. Day 4, he provided the sun for photosynthesis. That's not an error. God just didn't do it according to your, expectations.
Are
Just
you
because something doesn't happen by your expectations doesn't make it an error.
are you a 6 literal day guy, Chris?
I would lean that way, yeah. I don't believe in the creation eons because that literally doesn't work.
No,
you
but
take
there's like
the
the
text.
day
The day age theory.
day
or
age theory, but there's also days of revelation theory, right? That the Lord on the first day that the Lord met with Moses, he revealed that he made this. And then on the second day that he met with Moses, he revealed that he made this. So that's like days of revelation theory. It's an interesting theory.
Yeah.
But I think, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I don't know that would have been the way that it would have been understood, right? Like, I don't think that the initial audience would have understood it that way. Because I'm a pretty plain reading type of guy, right? I think that the Lord doesn't have a problem communicating what he means by the words that he uses, And so whenever he, like, to me, unless the text or context or common sense implies otherwise, I just feel like the words should be taken at plain face value. That's just kind of how language works to me, because if you don't have that kind of understanding, then words become very meaningless. And so to me, it's very important to make sure that because if we don't, then we start getting into what does anything mean? What does anything mean if X doesn't mean X and X actually means Y? Oh boy. There has to be support for that. It's like, I know a lot of you guys may not agree, but like the book of Revelation, to me, it seems to be fairly straightforward. It's got a bunch of metaphors in it. Sure, they're very clear metaphors, right? But it seems to be fairly straightforward. I mean, the things that the Lord says, it seems to be in a pretty ordered fashion. And he uses days and years, and he uses specific events and stuff like that. So it seems to be pretty straightforward. You just have to make sure that you're not being obtuse and choosing not to see where it's being like metaphorical. But like the days of creation, it seems to be that's how it was meant to be understood, but I don't know. Yes, historical grammatical, i.e. plain reading.
Yeah. Also, we might go through the baptism question towards the end of the stream if you want to check back later, if you're not going to watch all the stream.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to. But like I said earlier, we do have a video on that. If you want to check out our video on baptismal regeneration, it was one of my most favoritist videos that we did.
Jack has arrived.
He finally
made it. We missed you. Yeah. You didn't tell us that we were late, and it saddened our hearts. No, that's the great thing about plain reading. Would you mind bringing up Madam 50? That's the best part about a plain reading, is that it is exactly the same as what those people generally, like 90% of what you read would have been understood in a plain same sense that they would have understood it. There is an understand, like you do have to understand some kinds of language that they would have used back then. Right, and context, but I don't think that God has a communication problem, right? We cannot throw out plain reading, or else how do we get to justification by faith or justification at all? If we throw plain reading out, it's really difficult for us to like understand the metaphysics and the supernatural claims of the Bible, because it's like, what does it even mean?
Yeah, like the rabbi who said, but 3 years old then meant 20 years old today.
Yeah, that was just that was such a weird such a weird comment because I think he meant that like a 3-year-old would have been like a 20-year-old today or something.
Yeah,
It's
like
what?
biologically. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Like, oh, people matured faster back then.
Yeah, by the age
We did
of
20
3.
years of aging in 3 years.
What an idiot.
Yeah.
I'm not slandering. That's just a really dumb comment. And I think I'm justified in saying that was dumb.
I feel like you can slander that. That's
someone trying to justify a 3-year-old,
3-year-old
being in their 20s. You could slander that. That's okay,
dude. Prime
because
Aaron Rodgers wasn't lifting all those camel vases, bro. Like, come on. I'm just kidding.
Not quite.
Sports metaphor. I don't get. Okay. Number 1. The placement, number, and appearance of angels are different in each gospel.
Do you want to pull it up? You want me to, or what?
I can pull it up. Boop. That is true. But that is the question. Why does it actually matter? I'm remembering where that was.
There.
Yeah. So now after the Sabbath, as it began to dawn toward the first day of the week, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary, so now we have 2 Marys here, came to look at the grave, and behold, there was a great earthquake, for an angel of the Lord descended from heaven and came and rolled away the stone and sat upon it. His appearance was like lightning, his clothes was white as snow, and the guards quaked from fear, and because they became like dead men. And the angel answered and said to the women, "Do not be afraid, for I know you are looking for Jesus who had been crucified." So we have 1 angel and 2 women. Then if we look in Mark, then Sabbath passed, and Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James, and Salome, 3 women, came and might anoint his body. They went to the tomb, and the sun had risen. They were saying to one another, "Who will roll away the stone from us from the entrance of the tomb?" Looking up, they saw the stone had been rolled away, although it was very large. And entering the tomb, they saw a young man sitting on the right side, wearing a white robe, and they were amazed. And he said to them, "Do not be amazed. You are looking for Jesus Nazarene, who has been crucified. He is risen. He's not here. Behold the place where he laid him. Go and tell the others." So now there's 1 angel and 3 women. And then in Luke, they went, just as they came to the tomb, bringing spices, they found the stone rolled away from the tomb. But they entered, they did not find the body of the Lord Jesus. And it happened while they were perplexed about this, behold, 2 men suddenly stood near them in dazzling clothing. When the women were terrified and bowed their faces to the ground, the men said to them, "Why do you seek the living one among the dead? He is not here, but he is risen. Remember how he spoke to you while he was still in Galilee, saying that the Son of Man must be delivered into the hands of sinful men and be crucified." Then they remembered his words, and they returned from the tomb. They report all these things to the 11 to the rest. Now Mary Magdalene and Joanna, Mary mother, and the James, and the rest of the women with them were there. They were telling these things to the apostles. So now you have 4 or 5 or 6 women. It doesn't actually give a specific number. You just have at least 3 women, plus the rest of the women were there. Now, does that actually mean at the tomb?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm of the interpretation that the women that were with them when they were talking to the apostles.
Yeah. Now, on the first day of the week, Mary Magdalene came to the tomb while it was still dark, and she saw the stone already taken away from the tomb. So she ran and came to Peter and the other disciple, I was going to say the other John, the other disciple whom Jesus loved, and said to them, "They have taken away the Lord from the tomb. We do not know where they've laid him." So Peter and the other disciple went forth, and they were going to the tomb. They were running together, and the other disciple ran ahead faster than Peter and came to the tomb first. And stooping and looking in, he saw them. And then, but Mary was standing outside the tomb crying, and so she was crying. She stooped and looked into the tomb. She saw 2 angels in white sitting, one at the head and one at the feet, where the body of Jesus had been laying. And they said to her, "Woman, why are you crying?" She said to them, "Because they have taken away my Lord, and I do not know where they have laid him." When she said this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing there and did not know that it was Jesus, and she thought he was the gardener. So there's Mary here only, and she gets Peter and John in between, and the other Gospels do not mention that specifically, which makes sense for John being the eyewitness there to mention that. It makes a little bit less sense for Mark to not mention it because Peter was his source, but maybe he just decided not to include it because John outran him and he was embarrassed by it. Who knows? Mark did that from time to time, where he should have said something about Peter and he doesn't in order to not embarrass Peter. So,
which is interesting. The things he does include. I think my favorite thing about Mark, I'm sorry, I know this is off topic. My favorite thing about Mark, though, is that he doesn't include Peter being reconciled. I fully believe that Peter never got over that himself, that he never thought that he was worthy of being forgiven. And so that he didn't include it in his gospel, but the others do. And I just think there's something really beautiful about that. But
yeah.
Anyway,
also doesn't include
patriarch
him
of the
walking on
church he
water.
was. Said some first patriarch of the church he was.
Okay. It's only in issues of morals and faith. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you have 4-ish women and you have 2 men or 1 man. Well, there's multiple ways you can respond to this. The one I think is the most convincing is people focus on different things whenever they relate stories.
Right.
Some people hyperfixate on what is happening. Other people hyperfixate on more details. If you look at who said what, when, and why, you notice a pattern between the details. John, who's an eyewitness, has more detail, and he also has the 2 angels instead of the 1 angel, but he only has Mary. Luke, who is a historical dude, he's literally writing a narrative for the purpose of history writing. He has the most information on it. He has all of the women and he has the 2 men. So Luke is incorporating all of it. John, who's the eyewitness, he incorporates the specific things that he experienced most and care the most to relate. And then the other 2 have similar details. Mark has a little bit more detail with Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James, and Salome. Mary the mother of James might be Jesus's mom, or it could be James the Lesser, like John's mom. I lean towards it being Jesus's mom, personally. I would say that it's Mary, the mother of Jesus, and the mother of James, and the mother of Joseph, and the mother of Simeon, and the mother of who's the one I'm forgetting? Judas? Yeah. Mary, the mother of those boys, the 5 boys, and then the 2 daughters, or
what do you mean the aunt of those boys?
Yeah, no. The mother of those boys. Anyway,
or
so we have
depending.
I made a video on that. Well, actually, no, I made a stream on that. That's horrible to watch. I wrote that on my website. She would not have been engaged for over a year if she was the stepmom of the children. That would have only had a 30-day engagement or less. So it indicates that was first marriage for both Joseph and for Mary, which would rule out the ability of him having kids by another woman that she would be identified with. But anyway, not debating Catholicism here.
No, no, I was just kidding. Anyways, sorry.
So you have the characteristics of the authors themselves being what you would expect for that specific writer. And in the same way, whenever we are just like, if someone were to talk about our stream right now, they might say, oh, there's one dude who was explaining contradictions, because I've been talking for a majority of the time, or like some of the other streams we've done where I like almost primarily talk for the whole thing. So I'm like doing a presentation, like the stream we did on the Talmudic dilemma together. I talked for the vast majority of that because it's literally my presentation on a topic that I'm now writing a book on. So if they're like, oh, well, a guy gave a presentation on the Talmudic dilemma, but there was 3 of us there.
Right.
Would they not mention you guys because you guys didn't speak much, even though it was a stream with 3 people? Or would they hyperfixate on the one that spoke for 95% of the video? It would depend. It would depend on the person. You would have some people like, yeah, there were 3 people and one of them gave a presentation on the Talmudic dilemma. Oh yeah, there were 3 people and they gave a presentation. Or they talked about, they would give different details. Like, oh yeah, well, he talked about like the Quran and the Talmud or that. Or like, oh, there's one dude who gave a presentation.
That's the thing too. It's like, even if they were to say, oh, well, there were 3 guys and they gave a presentation, they would still be right. Even though it was just you giving the presentation, there were 3 of us and we were all talking about the same thing with the presentation. So it's not that what they're saying isn't wrong. It's just from a different perspective, right? The 3 people,
different ways to look at it.
Like, I wasn't talking about your presentation as in presenting it. but I was, expounding on it and stuff. So they would be right. You would say one person, they would be right.
Yep. And pretty much the same thing happening here. There were different authors focusing on different things. And notice, none of the authors are making exclusive truth claims about each of the events. So he's not saying that there was only one person. He says that there was one person. He's not saying that there were only Mary Magdalene. Says that there's Mary Magdalene. And other ones have the other Mary and then Salome and the other women. May or may not have been with her at that moment. But we have at least these three women were there with the spices there to anoint them. And then also they might have been there only for, so like there's different details in it that you can kind of harmonize together that are a little hard to figure out. You have to like really sit down and like think hard about it. But just because you have to think about it doesn't mean it's a contradiction.
No.
Doesn't mean
it's
it's
like the sign above Jesus's head, right?
Right.
You don't get the full sign unless you read all four gospels.
Right.
This is Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews. Some of them just say this
Yahweh.
is Jesus. Some of them say this is the King of the Jews. It's like, well, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I was getting updates on the project we're working on for the Quran. All right, so
it needs a lot of help.
It does need a lot of help. My book is over 500 pages. I'm trying to get it back under 400. We'll see how that goes. But it's at 535 at the moment.
Amen.
You don't gotta lower it. Come on now.
Yeah. Come on now. Yeah. Also, I just realized I was sharing my whole screen so you actually see that happen. Yeah, this is the book. There's there it is. There you go. There's the book. So yeah, Quran is a hot mess. Do you have anything else to go over on your end before we jump into the websites?
That was the main one I wanted to go through. I don't know if Chase has one. Also, hey, listen, a 500-page book is okay, Chris. My endeavors right now, on top of I'm like 30 pages away from being done with Josephus's The Jewish War. It is the longest 400-page book I've ever read because it is so slow at times. We're at the burning of the temple now. That's moving pretty fast, but I intend to read this also on the same issue, Roman Jerusalem. It's like an academic work on it. Hefty boy. But then I intend to try and read this year. I really hope to, on the history of Christianity. I really want to read this year, but we'll see. That may not happen as much as I'm hoping.
I tried to publish my book and derail you. That's my
my
goal.
gosh.
Yeah.
It's going to be at least 400 pages. I can guarantee you that.
Is your book, Chris, more of a reference book or is it like a read? Like obviously you could read it straight through, but do you expect most people to just kind of reference it or what?
I expect most people to read it all the way through. Maybe jumping around part 5, but the first 4 parts and the last 2 parts, I expect people to read it straight through. Because that's the argument stuff. So, yeah. Part 5 is 300 pages by itself. And it is just the similarities between Islam and the previous sources. So there's 300 pages of similarities between Islam and the previous sources.
Chris. I was reading The Institutes of the Christian Faith by one John Calvin, and I made it really strong into the first 9 chapters. He is surprisingly funny. But then I got to the chapter on the Trinity, and it was 2 hours long on my Kindle. And I put it down, and I have not picked it back up. What do you mean? What do you mean? Part 5 is 300 pages of your 500 pages.
Hold on. Let's go back to this. Yeah, I got it. All right. So, if we look at the contents, we have we're framing the investigation. We have logical errors, history, argument overview. And then like who created the Talmud, the rabbis, what the Gemara is, and why that's a massive problem the Quran is stealing from it, how the Talmud and the other sources are dated, a history of Judaism, what the Torah actually means, because that's important, the history of Muhammad's life, why he had so much access to Jewish stuff, the Jewish situation in Arabia, how he got it from. So it's like answering the who, what, when, where, how of the copying. So who did he create it, or who created it? Why did he copy from the Jews? When and how did he learn it? What was copied? The what was copied, if you notice, starts at 65 and it goes to 378. So the what was copied, and I have four layers of subcategories for the what was copied. And then even whenever I click on this, so like if I click on like eschatology and judgment day, I have so many, so like all these are just different sections right now, but I have so many of these that they're all grouped under a single idea of eschatology and judgment day, because there's so many things that are stolen just in that one idea. So just this one section, if we go back to the if you go back to the table of contents, each of those is pretty lengthy. So just eschatology is from 89 to 107. One of these other big ones, Noah, is 20 pages. Jacob is going to be significantly longer than that, because I'm going to add a lot of the problems in it too. So I'm actually going to expand some of these sections, but
Listen,
yeah,
man, you just let
and the
that
rest of it's
be
not
as
nearly
long
that
as it
long.
needs to be. Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
Once
it
that
wasn't
book
even actually
comes out,
updated.
I think Usama is going to want to get his hands on him, because he, for like several weeks, he would be like, Chase, my friend, I need your help. You need to look thing up in Talmud for me. You need to come and look it up for me. You need to show me in Talmud where this thing is found. And I'm like, Usama.
I was
For
wrong.
real?
Part 5 starts at 137 and it goes to 448. So a little over 300 pages, 310 pages, 311 currently. But yeah, I would love Usama, and that's 535 currently.
I'm sure he would be more than
let's get
happy
with
to
me.
be like a what do they call editor? Not Lord knows he wouldn't edit your English, but you know, the
beta
stories
reader.
and stuff. Yeah, he would read and he'd be like, Christus very good.
Yeah, I'm very excited for the book. It's gonna be fun.
I will
need to
buy
have-
it for him.
We need to have Usama back on. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, man, we haven't had Usama on in a while.
What do you mean I don't mimic Usama's voice well? Okay. He's very Egyptian. Okay. That was not mimicry. That was just me.
You guys want to see how many windows I have? I have so many windows that I have to scroll.
Doxed.
So
doxed.
Yeah. I didn't.
You're doxed. It's over.
That's fine.
I almost doxed myself earlier. I almost said my name.
It's like when it's like that meme of Speed whenever he's like sends the missile to America and he's like, bye bye Russia. It's just Chris's house.
Queso, almost every game he plays, if just a random set of numbers appears somewhere, he's like, is that my IP address? He's like, oh, I doxed myself.
Okay. You guys want to go through the Sabbath day?
DC
Precious.
Had mentioned that cool cat. Yes, Cinnamon is cool. She's running away now. She doesn't like attention.
Speaking of, where's the puppies?
Oh, they're locked up because I expect at some
Jailed.
point they're going to demand my attention.
Prison sentence.
Yeah, they're
Arkham Asylum.
there's something. The Sabbath day. Remember the Sabbath day? Keep
Why
it
is
holy.
Why is this one of the worst websites I've ever seen?
So I have dark mode on too right now.
Oh, That's
actually.
I like the dark mode because it feels very like Sith-like.
This is what they actually
Right.
look like.
But like
Yeah, it was
for the
very-
dark mode, they didn't even bother to change the American Atheists, so it's like you can barely even read it in dark mode. It's still the same color.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's real like ominous.
Anyways,
I like it.
I'm not hating on atheist web design. I'm just saying, come on.
No,
No, that's pretty bad. I mean, look at like that's just. It's not
That was
great.
awesome. That was nothing like the LDS website, which to this day may still be my favorite, like theology. Well, they don't really have much theology, but religious website. It's great. That is
Why is it?
What is
awesome.
this? What is happening?
Whose website is that?
It's LDS.
Oh, sorry. I don't know why I did that. No,
Facebook.
I'm mostly talking about their like navigating the Book of Mormon, Book of Abraham, like their books. Great. It's awesome.
They're pretty good libraries, yeah.
It's super intuitive. It doesn't take much to understand or to find things. They got headers that are really good. You can copy things. So if you look and you like highlight a verse, it will like not highlight the like the small like annotations and stuff, which I hate that Blue Letter Bible does. So like if you go down to verse 2 and you highlight verse 2, it won't.
So it has the A.
It won't highlight that, which is great. It's awesome.
Yeah, you can
it
see
leaves it out
there.
because like Blue Letter Bible, every time I copy and paste something, it's always got like the little function notes where you can look and see in the Bible. It's like, it doesn't work.
So what you're saying is Wesley Curry II was right.
He was correct.
Yeah.
Which time though? Which time am I affirming at the moment?
No.
Peacemaker.
He said no.
Never.
Hang on.
I would.
I don't want to.
I would much rather be
worship the devil.
Yeah, I'd rather be in hell.
Here's the problem.
See, like straight up, rather be in hell than wherever Allah is.
If I repent, well, you'd still be next to his foot, unfortunately. If I repent in Islam, there's a verse, and I have it in my notes. There's a verse that says that there's some certain people, and Allah is going to forgive them for their sins. But if you read in the Warsh, and so the Hafs says that Allah is going to forgive them. If you read in the Warsh, it says somebody else is going to forgive them for their sins. So I don't even know who I need to repent to. Let me find that real quick because I think it's particularly powerful. No, well, yeah, I find that particularly powerful. I made a video on it, a little short. I was wrong in the short, but the argument still stood. I think it's in this one, right? It's got to be here. It is in, because I think I have it as a screenshot of that verse side by side. We do not send down angels, or you do not send down angels. He will gather, we will gather. A prophet versus prophets. Or no, prophets fought, killed, poor people, poor person. Here it is. 258. It says, and recall when we said, enter the city and eat from it wherever you will in abundance, and enter the gate bowing humbly and say, relieve us of our burdens. We will then forgive your sins for you. But it says in the Warsh, and recall when we said, enter the city and eat from it wherever you will in abundance, and enter the gate bowing humbly and say, relieve us of our burdens. He will then forgive your sins for you. Who's he?
Jesus.
Well, that's not what the Quran says it is, but definitely.
Ironically, there's nowhere in the Quran that says that Allah is not Jesus.
True.
You ever seen Allah and Jesus in the same place?
Yeah.
That was the first thing I thought of. Was you ever seen them in the same place? That's terrible. Anyways, oh,
All right,
so
the Sabbath
Sabbath
day.
day.
this one's silly. Remember the
is silly.
Sabbath day
All
to
of these
keep
are
it holy.
silly.
Exodus
Yeah.
20:8. One man esteemeth one day above another, another esteemeth every day alike. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind.
Covenant change. Thank you.
Yep.
Good night.
Yeah,
That's most of these is just covenant changes.
But I mean, I'm not even sure if. I think you could also say this is talking about two completely different things.
I don't think it's talking about two completely different things. I think it's just a covenant change. I think that the Lord was actively reminding the children of, well, commanding the children of Israel to keep the Sabbath day holy. And then Paul is like, the church is much bigger than just Jewish culture and tradition. And so he's like, look, the days of the week, right? The Jews like Sabbath. Some people even say like birthdays and holidays and stuff. And I think this completely applies to that too. Hey, if you don't like Easter and you think it's pagan, then don't celebrate it. Who cares?
Well,
if you don't like Christmas, you think it's pagan, don't celebrate it. You don't have to.
Well, that's what I was talking about. Was that verse reminded me of what we were talking about when we came on to stream or in the backstage, where it was like, in matters of conscience, right? Like this is what I was thinking, is that like this feels. I mean, I know that they are in the similar vein, but what I'm saying is that there is an issue here being regarded as, okay, you can, if you still prefer to Sabbath on Saturdays, then Sabbath on Saturday,
right?
Like we're gonna meet on Sundays. It's like the Christians will meet in the morning on Sundays.
But even then, like, that's not explicitly commanded in the Bible either. Like,
no, that's what I'm saying, is like they're not.
So
they're just saying, like, Paul is like, we meet on Sunday mornings, but like I'm not going to tell someone who's still Sabbathing on Saturday like they're condemned for Sabbathing. This is an issue of conscience. So it's not this is not some slam dunk like, oh, see, Paul. This will be a good one for our video. That never saw the light of day. The Paul one. But like just sitting in the.
But to me, like if you were a Christian, and like I have a nondescript and ambiguous family member who I'm not going to describe because I'm afraid of the internet, and this person works a lot, works all the time, at home, at work, surprisingly enough, and said person was convicted about how much said person enjoys to work and to just be occupied. And so said person set aside the Sabbath from 6 to 6, Friday evening to Saturday evening, to not work. And that is a good thing for said person. And said person has benefited very much from this. And it would be a sin against said person's conscience to violate that because of why it was put in place to begin with. And so, yeah, that can be sin, right? I have no problem with a believer who is convicted about something that I'm not convicted about doing something that wouldn't be sinful for me, but is for them because that's their conscience.
Peacemaker? No. So, yeah, no. Moses did not choose Friday. No one chose Friday or Saturday.
That was just the day that God rested.
Yeah. It's literally just the 6th day. And Sunday is the first day of the week. Therefore, automatically, Saturday is the day of the week. So, and he explicitly identifies it as, because I rested on this day, you will rest on this day. So God chose it, not Moses, not the Israelites, not humanity in general. It was God. God chose it. God chose the 6th day specifically. So unless you're saying Friday is the 6th day, it's not Friday. Saturday.
You can argue at what time Friday begins or Saturday begins, but
Sure, there's different ways to count days, but it's still the
Right.
6th day, regardless of what you mean by the 6th day. It's the 6th day.
Yeah,
Also,
so
the
what-
Bible gives you a way to count the days. It's from sunset. So, the Bible says this is how you count days. It's the 6th day. Not really up for debate.
Killer.
So, the permanence of earth. The earth abideth forever. The elements shall melt away with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up.
Oh my
It's talking about the recreation of the universe.
So there's a couple
that's
different
bad.
ways. I don't know that I personally subscribe to a full recreation. I think that I lean more towards restoration of the universe.
Same. I am 100% restorationist.
I'm a new universalist myself.
You're a what?
Well,
A new universalist.
So you think so? Recreation. So yeah, new universe.
Yeah.
I just like I don't know.
Just
Andrew.
He became Thaddeus for a bit. Yeah.
So I wouldn't even say that that what Peter is talking about is literal, like just straight up everything is gone. So
Right.
it doesn't have to be a contradiction. But even if I did think that, it's still not a contradiction. Have you ever read Ecclesiastes, dude?
Yeah, it's literally poetry.
It's the whole thing is poetry.
Yeah.
He
Right.
literally says everything is meaningless. So then what
Right.
are you going to do? You're going to say, oh, look, well, Jesus said, believe on me and you'll be saved. But this guy says everything's meaningless. Who do I believe? It's like,
Right.
What?
It's very stupid. Now, to be fair, there are other passages that have similar wording for the earth existing forever. He just so happened to choose the dumbest one to use. But you could just say, oh, well, the earth is existing forever in this universe, and whenever the universe ended. But again, what does the word forever even mean in the Hebrew? It means from day to day. Well, if the days end, then it ends as well. You don't have to, I mean, if you take their view, then it literally doesn't exist. God just like reshapes it. He just purifies it, reshapes it. So the earth never actually goes away. It doesn't cease to exist. But you could also just say the earth ceased to exist whenever it was appropriate to do so, because we would say the same thing about the covenant.
Right.
It says that the covenant it uses the exact same word in the Hebrew.
Oh,
It is an eternal covenant. Yeah. But what does that mean? It means it was in perpetuity until it ended, until God chose to remove it, to destroy it, to replace it with something else. You could say the same thing about the earth, especially because the new earth that we live on doesn't even have a sun. So the sun's going to cease to exist in whatever fashion that takes. Whether or not it's the exact same planet, I don't really think it matters. Just up to your own opinion. I don't think we can like fully settle it. And it doesn't matter even if we were to debate it for hours, it is irrelevant to the actual theology and belief and everything else that we hold to. But this is not a good, definitely not a contradiction.
So, yeah, I like the word olam is also used in Exodus 27. It says in the Inspired Legacy Standard, and you shall command the sons of Israel that they bring you clear oil of beaten olives for the light to make a lamp burn continually. That's not the word. The word's in the next verse. In the tent of meeting outside the veil, which is before the testimony, Aaron and his sons shall keep it in order from evening to morning before Yahweh. It shall be a perpetual statute throughout their generations for the sons of Israel. So it's a perpetual statute throughout their generations. Well, there's still people living now who are descendants of Aaron. And there's still the generations. Why isn't the statute still there? Again, because it was so long as it was in place, it was not to be broken.
There's a lot of these perpetual statutes. Also, Peacemaker, the Hadith are not evidence for anything that's happening at the time of Moses.
Yeah,
Which is
Moses was
hilarious.
around a lot earlier than the Hadith. We don't view the Hadith as any form of authoritative on actual historical events.
Neither do
the
scholars.
same. It's the same thing with like the Quran talking about Jesus, like
Well, it's even further
600
away.
years after.
It's an additional
No, I know, but
300
it's-
years after the Quran for the Hadith.
But it's still,
just-
it's ridiculous, right? Like you expect me to take that, but you like they're so stringent when it comes to evidence for Christianity, but they couldn't be any more liberal when it came to evidence for their faith. Like they literally, I don't know. It's just I can't understand it.
Anyway,
Is this?
pretty dumb.
I like this one.
Seeing God. Yeah, this one is also stupid.
This isn't the ones that I would have picked, but this is one that I hear all the time. So Genesis 32:30, I have seen God face to face, my life preserved. Is that Jacob? Is that the wrestling with God?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then no man hath seen God at any time, John 1:18. All right. The problem for atheists.
Went to Exodus.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. This would be one where I would point to Exodus with Moses and the tabernacle or the face of meeting, the place of meeting. But so the problem for atheists is that this is entirely a theological issue, and atheists have no concept of the theological side of the Bible. This issue is entirely built upon the nature of God, and that God has revealed himself in a multi-personal way. Because what John is speaking of is that no one has seen God. He's speaking of the Father. He's speaking of the Father in heaven. No one has seen God. However, if you read the full verse, we have seen the image of God, who is Jesus Christ. He came in the flesh. The Word manifested into flesh. And then in Genesis, who did Jacob wrestle with? He wrestled with the angel of the Lord, who was the Word of God, Jesus. This is a theological issue. And an atheist just reads the text straight up and is like, yeah, see, that's a contradiction. No, it's not. It's not a contradiction.
My favorite version of it is actually the Exodus passage because it's self-refuting. So, but he said, you cannot see my face, for no man can see me and live. Right? So God says explicitly, you cannot see me. Right. And then earlier in that exact same passage, he says to Moses, thus Yahweh used to speak to Moses face to face, just as a man speaks to his friend.
This is one of the passages I used in our Trinity video.
Yeah. So, this is this is such a common thing with all the atheist Bible contradictions. They think that the authors of the Bible are just really stupid, I guess.
Yeah.
But
they assume stupidity because they're from ancient times, that because they're ancient, they're dumb.
Oh, they can't count. They can't remember what they just wrote. Like, okay, I'm writing a book right now. I've technically written parts of 4 books, but I'm writing a book right now. Am I going to contradict myself in the exact same chapter? Likely no.
Unless you're
Could it have happened? Muhammad contradicts himself verse to verse. Although, to be fair, according to the way the Quran was made, Muhammad didn't actually order it that way. He just would throw things in.
He also probably didn't say half of it.
Correct. But, that's its own debate. Anyway, Moses is not that stupid. Ezra is not that stupid. The authors of the New Testament are not that stupid. But they think that they are. And, like, I'm going to bring up several on this website and on Bart Ehrman's website of numerical contradictions in the exact same chapter. One of them he brings up is Ezra 1, and it's literally 1 verse apart. And he says, oh, it's a contradiction. And it's like, do you really think that a dude writing this, as intelligent as Ezra, made a error of that magnitude one verse apart, not even like one verse and then the next verse, he contradicted himself? No, that's idiotic. It just is. And whenever you're like, oh, it's literally within the same chapter, Yahweh spoke to him face to face, and then no one can speak to me face to face and live. The point is, the Yahweh that he sees is not the same Yahweh as the one who he cannot see. That implies the Trinity. It's Trinitarian language. There is one that is seen, one that is known, one that you can touch. Even there's a bunch of people that touch him. One of them actually slaughtered a bunch of people with a sword. Jesus killed people. He ended the life of people.
He's gonna do it again
before he became a human.
We're waiting on that day.
Like, Jesus brings a sword. He's terrifying. You need to be reverent. Like, he straight up wiped out an entire camp of the enemies of Israel in a night with a sword by himself.
I like the verse in the New Testament that says that the one who falls on the rock will be broken, but the one on whom the rock falls will be ground to dust. One of my favorites.
Yeah. I think it's also paraphrasing Isaiah. But yeah, just no. Stupid. This is very easily explained, both as Andrew said, but it's very easily explained with just there's three persons of the Trinity, and one of them is tangible and physical, even before he took on human flesh. He ate food in Genesis 18. Pre-incarnate. He touched people. He wrestled people. Killed people.
Physically.
He spoke with Moses hundreds, if not thousands of times in the tent of meeting. And the tent of meeting was called the tent of meeting because he met God there. Like, anyway, human sacrifice. So Leviticus says you should not kill your kids to Molech. And then in Judges, it says that the king the judge delivered his daughter and executed her. It doesn't say that. I guess we'll just read it. Go ahead. In Judges, though, through the tale of Jephthah, who led the Israelites against the Ammonites, is being told Jephthah?
Jephthah? Yeah.
Okay. Against the Ammonites, being fearful to defeat, this good religious man sought to guarantee victory by getting God firmly on his side. So he prayed to God, if thou shalt. Also, I love how they use the King James, and then they actually come up with contradictions because the way King James worded stuff that is not original to the original language, which I'll point out whenever it happens. But that literally happens on these websites, and I'm like, my guy, just read a modern translation. Anyway. Or read the Greek and Hebrew. That'll solve a lot of your problems. If thou shalt without fail deliver the children of Ammon into mine hands, then it shall be that whatsoever cometh forth of the doors of my house to meet me, when I return in peace from the children of Ammon, shall surely be the Lord's, and I will offer it up as a burnt offering. The terms were acceptable to God. Remember, he is supposed to be omniscient and know the future. So he gave victory to Jephthah. And the first whatsoever that greeted him upon his glorious return was his daughter, as God surely knew would happen if God is God. True to his vow, the general made a human sacrifice of his only child to God. First off, it doesn't actually say any of the things that are happening in this section. It does not say that God agreed to the terms. And I'm based open theist. I don't actually believe God knows the future because I don't think it's something that can be known. Because it's, he knows probabilities, he knows he knows everything that can be known. I would just make the argument that he can't know the future because that can't be known because it doesn't exist yet. There's no ontological state of existence for the future. Therefore, it can't be fully known. He can know all the possible outcomes that could happen, but he can't know for certainty which would happen. But that's an entirely different debate. You don't have to use that to explain this passage. You can just say that God didn't actually agree to the vow, and also that he didn't actually kill his sacrifice. He didn't kill his kid. it says that she mourned her virginity.
Yeah, not that she was
What
about
happened?
to die.
Yeah. It says that, she went with her friends and mourned the virginity. Like,
I'll be right back. I need to use the restroom.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, so it never says that the Lord, right, agreed to the terms. But one thing that Ash pointed out is that he was like, it never says that Jephthah killed his daughter, and it never says that the Lord was pleased with it. And so it was just like, why is she bemoaning her virginity and not her life? Because you would think if you knew you were about to die, that you would be like, oh shoot, let me go live it up, right? But she's actually remaining a virgin and being sad about it. Essentially, what does this mean? She was consecrated for, ministerial work. That was what happened.
Yep, she just started working in the temple.
Right.
Let this thing be done for me. Let me alone 2 months, that I may go to the mountains and weep because of my virginity, I and my companions. And he said, go. So he sent her away for 2 months, and she went with her companions and wept on the mountains because of her virginity. And it happened at the end of 2 months that she returned to her father, and he did to her according to the vow which he had made. And she did not know a man. Thus it became a custom in Israel that the daughters of Israel went yearly to commemorate the daughter of Jephthah the Gilead 4 days in the year. So what happened? She didn't know a man. That was the end result. She was an ever virgin. And that was a thing to weep over. For those who say that of Mary. Anyway. So we have that. Then we have the power of God. With God, all things are possible. And then the Lord went with Judah, and he drove out the inhabitants of the mountain, but could not drive out the inhabitants of the valley because they had chariots of iron. So why couldn't God drive out the chariots of iron if God is all powerful? That is using the same. No, actually, he's somehow logged into Thaddeus's account.
Right.
So he's literally just Thaddeus. He has his Google account somehow because of Usama. What do you think?
Well, I would just say that it appears as though the Lord is just using the children of Israel to do these things, and they couldn't beat the inhabitants of the valley, and so they just left. Not that the Lord couldn't do it, but that the people didn't have the might to do that because they didn't have that.
Yeah. People might not have had faith. It does say that the Lord was with Judah, or that, God specifically wanted them to. Well, let's bring up the passage because there is also an additional debate on that as well. We go back. So let's read it in context and see what is happening. Because context actually matters. Crazy, I know. Then the sons of Judah fought against Jerusalem and captured it and struck it with the edge of the sword and set the city on fire. And afterward, the sons of Judah went down to fight against the Canaanites living in the hill country and in the Negev, and Shephelah. Shephelah. So Judah went against the Canaanites who lived in Hebron. Now the name of Hebron was Kiriath Arba, and they struck Shishai with an Amen and Thalmai. Then from there he went against the inhabitants of Debir. Now the name of Debir was formerly Kiriath Sefer. And Caleb said, the one who strikes Kiriath Sefer and captures it, I will give him my daughter Aksa as a wife. And then Othaniel, the son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother, captured it, so he gave him his daughter as a wife. Now it happened that when she came to him, she enticed him to ask her father for the field, and then landed a donkey, and Caleb said, what do you want? And gave me a blessing. And then Judah went to the Simeon and his brother and struck the Canaanites, living in Zebulun, devoted to destruction. So the name of the city was called Hormah, and Judah captured Gaza with its territory, and Ashkelon with its territory, and Ekron with its territory. Now Yahweh was with Judah. They took possession of all of the hill country, but they could not dispossess the inhabitants of the valley because they had iron chariots. They gave Hebron to Caleb as Moses had promised, and he disposed from there the 3 sons of Anak. So did God actually want him to capture or to drive out the inhabitants of the valley?
At that time, no.
No.
Because the Lord had promised, right, a significant amount of land to these people, right? And the children of Israel, mind you, never possessed any more than about 15 to 20% of it at any given time. And so, but it was the Lord who was like, yeah, no, I don't think you should keep going. And so it's actually interesting because it says now Yahweh was with Judah. So their defeat, or not even defeat, it doesn't even say that they fought. So their non-conquering of that place was because of the Lord as well.
Right. And if you notice, they took possession of the hill country.
Right.
So they took possession of everywhere around that area.
Which for all
because
intents and
God was with them.
purposes, well, I don't know the geography of the place, but usually hills are a little bit more difficult.
Harder to take.
Yeah. But the chariots of iron, this brings up a funny point to me, because when we were talking about like steel versus Native American flint and crude metallurgy in the pre-Columbian era, and I was telling this Mormon, I was like, dude, steel would have annihilated these people, and it did. Like the Spaniards came over and absolutely decimated these people, and he was like, it was mostly due to disease, and I was like, you don't think they would have? They also got sick, but these, yeah. And so he was like, well, I don't think steel would have actually been that much more helpful. I was like, you've lost your mind.
I just don't realize how much better steel is than literally every other form of metal.
Literally every other form. It's not even close. Like,
yeah, steel is amazing.
It can cut bronze weapons. It can just cut them.
Just straight up in half, yeah.
Yeah.
Just go, your sword is
and
not
that's
a sword
not even
anymore.
what they were really using. They used like gold for like ceremonial daggers. There's very little.
Right. They had copper work mostly.
Right. There's very little evidence of anything more than like very basic, simple metallurgy from like very common metals.
Right. Because their ovens were not hot enough.
Exactly. And
they literally could not make steel.
And they didn't need to, and they didn't have the understanding to. That's
right.
That was another whole argument. I was like, the more I argue the steel thing, the more I think it's actually one of the strongest arguments against the Book of Mormon, because it's like steel would have propagated. If you think about it, the steel, you don't just lose a super valuable technology like that to time, right? Like, steel was so valuable that it would have been. Like, even if the people group had been conquered, they would have stolen it from them, right? Because it was so...
Even just for technology, not even for war. Like,
exactly.
Technology itself,
farming,
significantly better.
Exactly. Yeah, building, all that stuff. So you wouldn't have lost that. Anyways.
It's also why they didn't have it, because they didn't have any beast of burden to use the steel for. They didn't have plows. So the reason why we invented steel was because of farming. Then we discovered, it's really good for war too. And we used it for war. But for the vast majority of the time that it was invented, it was mostly for farming equipment, and then also some architecture stuff, like building materials. That was about it. And then like, we can make this into armor and weapons. And they're like, it's really hard to make. And then it became easier to make. They're like, let's do it.
Right.
But it became easier to make because they realized it was basically supernatural. Like, it was this wonder drug that everyone had access to now. And the Chinese started mass producing it, and the Europeans started mass producing it. And then it just became the standard. I see Europeans as like the Greeks, Romans. But yeah. Anyway, what's his face? I plugged this last time, but Expedition Bible, he has a series on the failures of archaeology It's a very good video. Highly recommend it.
You like
So
you went demon there for a second. I didn't.
That was
understand
scary.
The word you just said.
I came back right as I sat down. It was like a
Yeah.
like,
What did you just say?
Check out Expedition Bible's video on the failures of Mormon archaeology. I said it the right first time. Yeah, I glitched out.
He did not just stutter.
Stuttered.
That was Jabril. Jabril caught his microphone.
Oh, that's me. Hold on. Take me off so I'm not. I think I'm a little hot. Am I echoing a little bit on the lows for people?
I don't know if it's an echo. There's a slight hollowness or like.
Yeah, I think my expander is a bit rough. Is that better? Is this better?
I think so.
I'm gonna turn this down to.
I don't think that your settings made whatever that was happen.
No, not for the stuttering, but just for me generally talking.
I think
my mic. I have a very expensive mic, but my settings are not very good. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to. That's because I'm not on the stream.
Oh,
but can you hear me? Is my sound better?
Yeah,
that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Muy bueno.
Chris has been replaced by a synth. Yes. Anyway. Sounds the same.
Are we talking like Fallout synth or
probably?
Man, them things are
terrifying.
Lifelike. But we all love Nick Valentine, so unless you've never played Fallout 4, in which case I am so sorry.
I just found out they have Fallout 4 for the Switch too.
I'm sure Bethesda wants to make as much money as possible, so yeah, I don't doubt that.
Yeah, especially after Fallout, the one we don't talk about.
76. No reason to talk about it.
Anyway,
it's still a dumpster fire.
I am lagging. Am I still lagging?
No, not really.
Baba
It's like two completely different turnarounds. Well, I guess like two games that came in with so much hype, like Fallout 76 and No Man's Sky. And then like No Man's Sky has done everything in their power to make it like the greatest game of all time and has completely flipped the narrative. And now they're doing too much. Now it's like, hey, you could stop. No one's asking for all these expansions. They're cool, but like this is crazy. And then Fallout 76 was like all the hype.
It continued to get worse,
and it never really recovered.
No.
They just kept adding.
It continued to get
never
worse.
Really got better.
They built on such a bad foundation. Like the game in beta was bad, and people were saying, "Hey, this is bad," and they continued to build on it. Classic, massive game corporation. Move.
There's been multiplayer Skyrim mods for many years now.
And they're so good.
And they're very good. You would think there would be multiplayer that they could just figure out, but they just straight up can't.
They don't know how.
Wild to me.
Or like Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah.
That wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
It would be better, but it wasn't terrible.
Yeah, well, yeah, it could have been better, but it wasn't terrible.
I didn't like that Elder Scrolls Online felt very directionless, where you were just like dropped in there and they said, all right.
But that was in a time where there were quite a few games that were really directionless.
Yeah.
There's also the genre. Right. The genre of that game is literally an MMO. It's like saying there's no direction in RuneScape. There's no direction in RuneScape.
That's one of my there was a game for like old way back, if you guys are familiar with like the Commodore 64 and like all the MS, all that. There was a game called Death Star in which the screen literally just read, "You are in a corridor on the Death Star. What do you do?" And then you just had to be like, "I don't freaking know." So you had to just like explore, be like, "I want to walk down the hallway," or "I want to shoot the nearest stormtrooper," or like, "Who am I?" Like you just had to. You didn't know.
Huh. Dang, Chris is gone now. I wanted to talk about how. Oh well, I'll just say it. So, I've been really, really wanting like a mini tablet for a hot minute, like a long time. I've wanted an iPad mini for so long. I think they are the perfect size. It's bigger than a phone, smaller than a normal tablet. Oh, I want one. I want the horizontal, like the yes. I love those things, and my wife says they're stupid and won't let me get one.
I don't think they're stupid, Andrew.
Thank you. I love it. And if I ever have the ability to, I honestly probably would. If Android wouldn't have green bubbles, that's the only reason my wife won't let me just get a Android phone is because of the green bubbles.
So stupid.
I know. It's dumb.
But no, the Google Pixel.
Steph, you can send me your
10,
old one.
The Google Pixel 10 Fold, for all intents and purposes, is what I am going to get next because it's got a great camera. It feels like an actual phone. Like the Samsung one is thinner, but the Pixel is a little bit wider, so it feels like a phone. I'm excited. I want one very badly at the moment. So
I think even like I'm not necessarily a fan of like the horizontal flip phones, but I think they're cool. I've seen someone using it and I'm like, wow, that's cooler than I thought it would be.
Right,
but
like the Z Flip or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to tell Chris, so finally I wanted a miniature tablet, but I was not going to spend $500 on an iPad mini. That's ridiculous. And I was watching a video and they were talking about some like some things to be on, like some good buys to be on the lookout for. And they said, keep an eye out on the 8.1 inch on tablet at Walmart. They recently had swapped all the plastic for aluminum, so the quality matches the iPad mini. The screen's more reflective outside, which sucks, but it was only $140, and the processor's not as good. It's not, but for what I need it for essentially a glorified e-reader.
Oh yeah,
I've said she'll send you an old one if you want.
For the
that
flip,
was a fold. That
or
was
the
a fold
phone.
Okay.
I would feel bad doing that. I feel like
you're a liar, liar from lying liar land on Liars Getting Free Day, boy.
No, I do plan on getting a Google Pixel Fold and then using it to read comics. I fully intend on doing that. That is one of the best.
Exactly.
Yes, that was David Wood.
I haven't.
Is that Daily Wire?
I'm so sad. I've got it. I haven't set anything up yet. For the same reason,
underqualified, overconfident, ultra-crepidarian, academic charlatan, right-wing apple polisher.
That's actually how I feel right now about myself.
Dude, them Honey Crisp apples can't polish themselves.
No, I
you step up
have not, for the same reason, I haven't put out a video in like 3 weeks outside of our live streams because the dogs have made it almost impossible for me to like get in here and just do work. And me and my wife have been working opposite schedules, which also doesn't help. So, but we can get back on topic.
Anyway, more on that.
And we're proud of that.
We're proud of that.
You're a kafir.
Anyway. So, personal injury. Thou shalt give life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burning for burning, wound for wound, stripe for stripe. And then Jesus says, resist not evil, but let them slap your cheek. Again, different covenants.
Well, and
But
one of
what is
them
the
was
purpose?
literally a law for a literal physical country that was going to be built. The
Right.
other one is an ethical command that Jesus gives to his followers for like multi-ethnic backgrounds.
Wait, Steph, what do you mean by this? What do you mean by welcome to Puppyville for Chris's face is so readable?
I think when Andrew mentioned puppies, you were very excited or something. I don't know. I wasn't looking at your face personally. I like Andrew's face better.
I wasn't looking at my face
That's
either.
so kind of you to say that.
Yeah, not your hair though.
Way more snuggleable.
I did this actually so that I could put advertisement space on my forehead. For the Sons
already
of
have
Thunder.
the
sub
for
to
it.
sub to Sons of Thunder. It's just like a scrolling screen, like at the bottom of the newsreel.
Oh, not being able to work. Oh yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be great. But not there yet. Yeah. Different purposes entirely. This is literal law for capital punishment. And this is interpersonal relationship.
Right.
Now, Jesus actually agrees with having a law that, there is court system, there's justice, there's things happening. He doesn't say that, oh, there shall never again be a governmental structure and like legal systems. Like,
right.
No.
Yeah, that's to me, like, that's one of the things that the New Testament's pretty explicit about. It's like, look, honor the king.
Mm-hmm.
Do what's right by the government, unless it contradicts your faith or your conviction, right? Do what's right by the government. Just, pay your taxes. Be a generally good citizen. And that's what the Lord Jesus is teaching here. Be a generally good person. Is it an okay thing if someone hits you to hit them back? Yeah, I don't have any problem with that. But the Lord Jesus is saying that there's something deeper that you're not understanding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Context matters. Imagine that. Circumcision. Yeah, again, different covenants.
And also, that Galatians quote is ripped completely out of context.
Indeed. Yeah.
Because I
like smiling. Why is smiling bad?
To put it nicely, Paul was circumcised. So what do you mean if that is literally supposed to be read that way? You are insane. Oh,
Cat's being cute.
No.
Hi, cute cat.
I don't know what she's about to do because I came into the room the other day and the lamp was knocked over. The mic was knocked over. It's like, okay.
Was he okay?
She's fine.
No. You said Mike was knocked over. Is Mike all right? Or?
Oh, no, he's all right.
Okay, cool.
That's like Steven's dad jokes. Incest. Cursed be he that lieth with his sister, the daughter of his father, the daughter of his mother. And if a man shall take his sister, his father's daughter, or his mother's daughter, is a wicked thing. And then Abraham married his sister, his father's daughter. Why is this not wrong? Well, you could argue that it was wrong. The prophets and Abraham are not sinless beings. Abraham sinned a number of times. In the text itself, it actually calls him out for his wrongdoing. But you can also say, oh, well, these covenants didn't exist yet.
Yeah, like they conveniently put the books in a different order.
In a different order, yeah.
Yeah. Again, covenants. Covenants matter. Covenants matter for everything, and especially with God. He establishes things as covenants.
It's like the question of where did Cain get his wife, right? It's like,
right.
I have no problem with that,
Incest.
That's just
even from a materialistic worldview, incest was required.
That's the thing, right? It's like there was no other way. And to me, I subscribe to the idea that Adam was genetically perfect. So like the genetic code was not corrupted. Right.
There's no problem with incest.
And so there wouldn't have been any gaps. Yeah, there wouldn't have been any gaps in the genetic code. There would be no reason for you to seek outside. But yeah.
Someone said bless you. Steph said bless you.
Thank you. Thank you.
This one's just not understanding, again, covenants. It's almost as like atheists who are criticizing the Bible don't understand the Bible. Crazy shocker. But this is also going to come up on Bart Ehrman's website, which is what this is. Actually, we're going to go through Ehrman's. Oh, it's Marco Marinas, who's also a PhD. 50 contradictions. And these are even dumber than the other ones.
No.
So, trusting God A good man obtaineth forever. No, man, my brain cannot read KJV. A good man obtaineth favor of the Lord. Now consider the case of Job. After commissioning Satan to ruin Job financially and to slaughter his shepherds and children to win a petty bet with Satan, God asked Satan, "Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one who feareth God and excuse me?
Escheweth.
Escheweth?
Meaning
Evil?
rejects.
Oh, that's a disgusting looking word. And he still holdeth fast his integrity, although thou movest me against him to destroy him without cause."
First of all, I would like to point out that they didn't put the first part in brackets like they did the other
right,
ones.
yeah.
Which
like
so like you could reasonably be like, oh, is this part of the verse? So first of all, there was no petty bet with Satan. God did not wager Job against Satan, right? That's not what happened. It was because of Job's life that he obtained favor of the Lord in this particular way, because it was better for Job that these things happened to him. Because if you look at the end of his life, it's better for Job that those things happened to him. His wife, his closest companion, was like, it's funny, I've heard this before, but it was like, notice, Satan took away all Job's kids, took away all his livestock, left his wife though. So it's like his wife was proven to be a bad person. His children were proven, to be like, so this was favor. You're welcome, Job.
I don't know if I would go that far with that, but
I don't know, but I think that the idea that God's favor only looks like material and physical blessing.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
It was favor. Like, I think that the Lord favorably deals with like everyone insofar as he died for everyone, but like I also think that he deals harshly but favorably, like harshly for a reason. I don't think anything that the Lord does or really even happens is just because, like I think that the Lord does everything for a specific purpose. But like I don't know, like that's, to me, like it was for Job's good that these things happened to him, and that's seen at the end of the book. So it's like,
it's also prophecy of Jesus,
and it also reveals a deeper story. So like, even if you don't think that Job actually is a historical account, it reveals a deeper story that, like, even though you might consider yourself to be a wonderful, fantastic, God-fearing person, you may still be Job in like chapter 13, who's being a complete crybaby, right? Like you can be internally a bad person still. So anyways,
which, I mean, to be fair, it doesn't say that he was bad for suffering.
No.
Doubting. It's just,
no, absolutely not.
He did go through some suffering.
He did.
He did. And then he was redeemed out of that, and then was given even more than he had beforehand. So he had additional favor on top of it. Was his momentary suffering meaning that God, took his favor away from him? No. People go through things. God tests us in things. He tries to prove our character. And then it's also like, what is the focus of this life? Is the focus of this life our material blessing? Or is the focus of this life to prepare us for eternity?
Like, I think my mom has favor with me. Now, you could point to the fact that, I was disciplined as a child, right? You could point to that and be like, look, Chase, your mom didn't have any favor on you. And I'd be like, I beg your pardon. That's just part of it, right? Like, her having favor on me, it was better that she disciplined me than that she didn't. That was part of the favor. I don't know. That's kind of a dumb. Why is that even on there?
Why is the heading trusting God? when this
Trusting
has
God.
nothing to do with trusting God. And this doesn't really have much to do with trusting God either.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's just nitpicking. The holy lifestyle. Go thy way, eat thy bread with joy, and drink thy wine with a merry heart. Again, Ecclesiastes. They that rejoice as though they rejoice not. 1 Corinthians 7:30.
What even are these quotes?
Out of context for both of those, but God wants us to enjoy, yes.
Ow. What is this?
Yeah,
There's
I
not
ge-
even enough words on the screen for there to be a contradiction.
I have no
Oh.
idea what they're even trying to get at there.
I don't know. So what's his point here?
Also, this is talking about the end times.
The time has been shortened. Those who have wives should be as though they had none, and those who cry as though they did not cry. And
This part of the
are
world.
you bound to
passing
wife?
away.
Do not seek to release. Are you released from life? Do not seek a wife. But if you marry, you have not sinned. The Virgin Mary has not sinned yet. No trouble in this life, and I'm trying to spare you. But to say, brothers, the time has been shortened, so that from now on, those who have wives should be as though they had none. Those who cry as though they did not cry. He's just talking about the end times, yeah.
Yeah, just living in a way that you don't have possessions, you don't care as much, you're just focusing on the kingdom. Which, to be fair, they were about to go through massive persecution.
Oh, it was bad.
It was terrible. And these things apply directly to the audience that is listening to or reading this letter. So yeah, it applies to us a little bit as well, but this is something specifically for those people in Corinth at that time, which is also part of the Bible. There's sections of the Bible that doesn't matter for me or you
A good
or anyone else
portion of
alive
it.
at the moment. A massive portion of it that literally doesn't apply to us. There's sections of the New Testament that doesn't apply to us.
They aren't
There's a bunch of
addressed
sections
to
of it.
us, but they do
Not-
they do apply in some sense to us. But yes,
Sure.
they're not
But like if Paul's talking about like, hey, you church were doing this thing,
right.
stop doing it. It's like, okay, well, I'm not part of that church. I'm not doing that thing. Now you could say, oh, well, the principle of, hey, don't do that thing could be, but there's other things where he's like, hey, maybe you shouldn't be doing that is not even a part of my culture. So it's not relevant. Like women, wearing gold in a certain way. Like it is not part of the culture for women who wear gold in that way to be prostitutes. So it's, hey, don't look like a prostitute. And I could extract that from it. But if the culture itself is no longer doing the thing that he's criticizing of the culture, then it doesn't matter. Like, oh, well, don't live in a culture that promotes promiscuity and prostitution. Yeah, great. But the specific command of that specific statement, that doesn't apply because prostitutes don't look like that anymore. They look like something else. I don't know. Just dumb. Punishing crime. No voice crack.
Oh my goodness, Chris.
Oh yeah, I think I did a solo video on this specific one from a meme that I saw. I did like a 20-minute.
Chris.
I can find out in like 2 seconds.
This has to be the worst one yet. Well, that last one was bad too, but I don't even understand what they were trying to say.
There's some doozies.
This one has
up.
to be terrible.
Oh no, sorry. The one that I did a video on, which may also be in this list, it's got Paul saying Jesus died for our sins. And then it says God and Ezekiel, no one dies for another's sins. And then Jesus, you'll die on your own sins. That's like, oh my gosh.
Man. So
guys,
yeah.
we've been refuted.
So it says in Ezekiel 18:20, the son shall not bear the iniquity of the father. It says in Exodus 20, verse 5, I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of those who hate me. So please do not leave that off. Please do not leave the last part of the verse off, because if you do,
Yeah. These dot
you
dots
sound
matter, actually.
very disingenuous, because it's very specific as to who he means he will punish. He's punishing the children in the same way that he punishes the fathers of those who hate them, of those who hate him.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the Lord, when it comes to like the wicked children of the wicked kings of Israel, they were punished in similar ways from generation to generation, because they had the same iniquity.
Mm-hmm. Yep, generational guilt.
Right.
Actually, it's a real thing. Generational curses, generational guilt. And even the kingdom, like the kings themselves, from Jehoiakim onward, like all of them are cut off from the line of the kings, which they don't even appear in Jesus's lineage, even though he's through that lineage. So God removed them deliberately, not only to make it 14 generations for Matthew 1, but also because those three were not promised at all the kingdom. They were actually deliberately removed from the promises of the kingdom. So you might even be like, oh, well, this is like relating to what Jesus does, or what Yahweh does to those three kings, which is kind of a neat thing in and of itself. But it just what's really frustrating to me is not necessarily the stupidity of the contradictions that atheists come up with, is how confident they are in these contradictions,
stating them, yeah.
Literally no context and no depth of knowledge of the theology of Christianity or the Bible. And we'll see that way more explicitly if we can get all the way through Bart Ehrman's ones.
Yeah, it's like a
They're pretty
major
incredible.
lack of like generosity in a way.
Right.
Like yes, some of these statements can seem contradictory if you make them completely devoid of any type of spiritual meaning, right? That's not us just like washing away the words, right? Like, oh, you just have to be spiritual about it. It's like, no, when we talk about how like we got the doctrines of the Trinity from reading the scriptures. So like if you're telling me that you're reading the scriptures and you're reading them without the context of the Trinity, then yeah, I can see how you could think that's a contradiction. I don't read them devoid of the doctrine of the Trinity. And so like these things matter. If you are not being charitable or generous to the text to give it the same level of understanding that the Christians who read them do, trying to use these as arguments for, oh, this is a contradiction, you're not going to convince any Christian of your perspective, because you've completely removed the parts that matter to understanding the text.
Yep. I mean, context matters a whole lot. And, why would you ever try to understand anything in context? That just doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, I watched a video of a guy who he's like, hey, let's read Twilight. And he opened the book to the first page and he read the first sentence and then he closed it. He's like, wow, guys, that was a really good book. It's like, I don't know what happened. He's like, but that was great. He's like, that makes no sense, right? Why would you do that? Why would you read just one sentence of a book and say, yep, that's it? That's all I needed to know.
Yep. This one just makes me. This is one of the King James ones, which I'm kind of sad that Chase is gone, so we might come back to this. Family relationships: honor thy father and mother. If any man come to me and hate not his father and mother and wife and children and brethren and sister, yea, in his own life, he cannot be my disciple.
Oh, so much for Jesus is the loving one, right?
Yeah.
God of the Old Testament's the hateful one. I don't know.
Right. What does this even mean?
So
like, why try to understand it, man? What if hate doesn't mean hate in the way that you think hate means hate? What if it's a different word in the Greek? What if it actually means to love less?
Prefer.
Mm-hmm. If you not love less your family than me, you cannot be my disciple.
And that's legit.
Saying. That is literally what he means.
And
that's
also,
literally what the Greek says.
also, you can honor your father and your mother. And to be quite honest with you, you can honor them and hate them. If this word actually just meant hate, you can honor them and not like them, right? but that's not what it means. It's just
super interesting.
It just means not to prefer.
For the Ten Commandments one, God does not require you to love your father and mother. He requires you to honor them. He requires you to love every other person.
Right.
The only people that are explicitly not said to love, because he says love your enemy, love your neighbor, love your family, you have to honor your father and your mother. Because the father, mother, son, daughter relationship is so difficult and can be so messed up in so many ways. It's interesting to me that he specifically gives like a charitable thing where it's you have to honor them, not love them. Because there are definitely people who should not, from the worldly standard, love their father and their mother because of the terrible things that they did to them. Now you should still repent. You should still accept and forgive yourself, forgive them, and move on and walk in that. But there's still this exception of honoring the father and mother instead of loving. And I think that's such an interesting addition to the text that definitely didn't need to be there, but God chose it to be there. And I think that's super neat. This is the dumbest one I think I read personally before the stream started. Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God, for God cannot be tempted with evil, nor tempteth any man. Genesis 22:1, and it came to pass after things like God did tempt Abraham.
Old English, man.
Is that actually even what it says? No.
No.
What does this word mean? It means to put to test. Tempt is not even in the Logos version of
Goose.
Patel here. Pta. Like, well, this one's Nita.
Hey, you stop it.
Or Nisa, sorry.
Sorry.
Ugh.
I didn't realize.
Literally not in the definition. Literally not here. Tempting is not part of this verb's possibility. The King James Version is just straight up wrong. That is not the word. That is not what it means. That is not how it should have been translated. So this supposed contradiction only exists because of the translation he's using. If he uses any other modern translation, it will say test. Because that's literally what that word means. Lisa, to test. Not tempt. To test. This is a just failure of translation that they then forced to be a contradiction because they just aren't willing to use anything other than the King James Version.
Right. Temptation in James 1:13 being synonymous with enticing, right? Let no man say when he is enticed
causing you
evil,
to
right? He's not enticed, whereas Genesis 22, tempting, mean testing.
Yeah. Does New King have that fixed? I do not know. I can bring that up. New King James Version. What is it? Genesis 22. 1. Now it came to pass after these things that God tested Abraham. Look at that. Yay. Even the New King James Version has it corrected.
Yeah.
Literally.
As much as I don't know.
So stupid.
I don't know that Tyndale actually got that far into Genesis before he was killed, so I don't actually even know if that was Tyndale's translation of that. But regardless, even if Tyndale did translate it that way, it was just wrong. That's not what the word means.
Right. Just because they didn't know Hebrew nearly as well. And they didn't. I don't remember. Does the Greek have that? What's the Greek? I'm looking that up. No, it still sounds like, oh, no, it could be temptation here. So that would be a Greek artifact, or a Latin artifact. I'd also have to look at the Latin. That is not from the Hebrew, though. It's not from the original language. So because those translations didn't have access to the Hebrew in the same way that the later ones did, they created a false translation. which is what the King James is in a lot of places. Now, it's very faithful in some places. It's not nearly as faithful in other places. I do not think anyone should read the King James version, in my opinion. But
tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, it's not nearly as good as any of the modern ones we have. Just go read the LSB or the ESV. Even the NIV is at times more faithful than the King James. That's not even trying to be literal. When King James is trying to be literal. It's just, yeah, man. There's so many better options, dude. New King James is better. Yeah, New King James is fine. Significantly better than King James version. There's no reason to use it.
Sorry.
Okay. Honor thy father and mother.
No. Anyways.
Oh, we went to that. He that goeth down to the grave shall come up no more. The hour is coming in which all that are in the grave shall hear his voice and shall come forth. Also, they use this of Samuel, which I think is in Bart Ehrman's. Yeah, it's in Bart Ehrman's one. He uses the same thing for Samuel coming back to life from being conjured.
So,
by the witch.
First of all, this is Job speaking, and Job isn't correct all the time in the things he says. So, like, because I looked, I was like, Job 7, that's not where God starts talking. And I was like, nah, this is just Job talking. So even if Job meant like there's no resurrection, Job was just wrong.
Right, he's not a prophet. Like all of his friends are saying things in these chapters, and a bunch of the things the friends are saying are false. So why are you applying Job to a different standard than the friends for him being what, like, infallible in his speech? It just doesn't make any sense. Also, Steph, you can like the King James Version. It sounds pretty at a number of times, but it's just not as faithful to the original text in our current English than the other modern translations. It just isn't. It only used 8 manuscripts of the Greek. The people speaking then didn't have nearly as much knowledge of the Greek as we have now, because we're not only translating from all of the thousands of manuscripts we have, we're also translating from all the hundreds and thousands of other Greek writings in Koine Greek that we have now, which they didn't have access to. So if we don't know how a word is used in the Bible, we can also look how the word is used in contemporary Greek writings that they didn't have. Yeah, it's literally only 8 manuscripts for the King James Version, for the Textus Receptus.
Yeah.
Is it? So we have 5,000 manuscripts now to translate from. They had 8.
Tyndale had some slim pickings.
Yeah, they didn't have access to it. They just straight up didn't. We do now, so we should use it now. We also have significantly more knowledge of Koine Greek than they had access to, and we have significantly more access to knowledge to the Hebrew. We also have the Dead Sea Scrolls, which they didn't have. So we have significantly more resources to know the exact word of God now, and our reconstructions are way more faithful to what the originals would have been than what the King James was. It was great for its time, but it's not the gold standard of Bible translations that some people think it is.
Yeah, I was watching a video today by 2 Eastern Orthodox guys, and one of them even mentioned he was like, yeah, we don't have like one complete Septuagint. There's no such thing as one complete Septuagint. It's a breakup of works over time. He's like, and because they prefer to use the straight up Greek for everything, and he even said, he was like laughing about it like it wasn't a big deal. He was like, yeah, the only version of Daniel we have comes from like the 3rd century, and it was translated by Jews who were attempting to take the Christian influence out of it, and that is the version of Daniel we have. And I was listening like, say that again. you don't think that's a problem, and that it wouldn't be better to just use the Hebrew? What? Okay. It's like, I think obviously the version of Daniel that they have, as far as I can see, is fine. It's like, but like understanding the argument. Just use the Hebrew. It's okay.
It's true. Yeah, well, they were scared of the Hebrew because the Jews were sneaking bad. I'm not saying that YouTube. Don't take it on the stream. I'm saying what they believed at the time. I do not believe Jews are that.
We just lost another stream.
I know, before my stream gets taken down by YouTube again. It's so ironic that my stream got taken down for them thinking I'm being anti-Semitic when people like Nick Fuentes never has that happen to him.
Right.
And I'm
actually,
like,
I don't think he's on YouTube anymore.
Well, still, like, there's so many people like that on YouTube.
I think he's only on Rumble.
And then I say I quote the Torah. I quote the Quran. Me quoting the Quran or paraphrasing the Quran got my stream taken down.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Never forget that, man. That was such a good stream. So salty.
Also,
that was such a good stream too.
It was such a good stream, man.
With what you what? Oh, sorry. One thing that you just mentioned, like, because they thought that this group of people was, up to no good, and they were trying to, so you'll actively admit that the version of a text you used, they attempted to change to take out Christian influencing texts, but you'll still use it because it's in Greek, but you won't use the Hebrew
Dead Sea Scrolls,
where you are claiming they would do the same thing. So if you're willing to do it for the Greek, but that doesn't make any sense. If this claim is, they have the ability to change the text, it's like, okay, but you claim they also did that with the Greek. So who cares? Why? And the guy was like, the priest, he knows Hebrew. He was like, oh yeah, I took Hebrew classes. Like, so you obviously don't think there's that big of a deal with just reading the Hebrew. So why do you all have such a harsh stance on only using the Greek?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know why. It's easier to get to the essence energies distinction through the Greek than it is through the Hebrew. So that's why. But I don't think that's their only reason why, but that's one of. And the like God and synergy and stuff like that. But that's not what the stream's about. So we can keep moving on.
Yeah. This guy who wrote this, by the way, is the acting president of this organization.
What?
So,
that's the best.
He's he's a linguist, guys.
This reminds me.
That was his best work on the contradictions of the Bible.
This reminds me of like when Mormon prophets say really dumb things. You're just like, wow, that's the best you got. My man.
Ooh, actually, on the re-examination shows thing, I'm pretty sure I did. I think that's the one I went to. There was one that I actually did. I had 3 Bibles out and I was reading. I have a Dewey Reams, so I had the Latin, and then I had the Greek, and then I had one for the Hebrew. I don't remember which one it was, but I remember there was a significant difference in the way that the text is said. And that's not like from FB just said it is absolutely not an issue about like the Greek is just bad. It's just the fact that we have a more reliable text that's closer. Because like when the Masoretic comes around, and me and Chris talked about this, I absolutely understand someone being skeptical of the Masoretic when it came out. I don't think there's a good argument to be skeptical of the Masoretic now that we have the Dead Sea Scrolls and their shows. They are pretty much identical. Like, so they were very faithful in their translating the text. So I don't think you have a good argument.
Transmitting.
Anymore.
They didn't do any translating.
Yeah, my bad. Transmitting. Yeah, sure. But yeah, I don't think there's a good argument now for the idea that like we shouldn't use the Masoretic because of, the Star of David is really the Star of Remphan, and isn't it interesting that the Star of David is on the like whatever. Whatever. But I'm even if there was a nefarious plot, I'm gonna say lay Jews probably did not know about it, and they used the symbol of their nationality that they had come close with, and not everything is a conspiracy theory. Not everything is somebody out to get you.
Oh, but when it involves those people, it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Except for like the salvation of the world. Then
We can trust the Jews in Alexandria. All right, they was good. They translated
one of the good ones.
They translated that text real good, and we can use that one forever.
Right.
They one of them good ones. Yeah, no. Japanese is rough, dude. Like anime Japanese is not that bad. But like formal Japanese with its grammar and sentence structure is so hard to translate manually in your head. For me, at least.
Do police officers wear Star of Rem fan badges? You get it now. You're connecting it. It's all there. He's everywhere.
They're putting chemicals in the waters.
About to become the next Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Earth doesn't last forever. We went over that. I don't know. This is the PhD guy. So this is a doctor who's a historian and author and BE contributor. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but Bart Ehrman. So a common dude a year ago. So he has no excuses.
What up, LA Apologetics?
He went over this one. We already went over that one. Yep. The number of animals Noah took on the ark.
Wait, where's the discrepancy?
It's literally the same author. But because some scholars believe that there's two different writers of Genesis, that you can, it was writer A said it was 2 and writer B said it was 7.
No, I think what the Lord is trying to say is that as a general rule of thumb, there were 2 of each animal, and then of the clean ones, there were 7. It's not a contradiction.
That is exactly what he's saying. Yes.
It's not a contradiction. That's just what he was stating. Oh my goodness. I've never heard that one before. That one's new.
Yeah, so
that would be like, I don't gosh.
This is the standard skeptic academic response to a lot of the things in Genesis. They actually use the same thing for the sons of Noah versus like 3 sons versus 4 sons. They actually make the claim that the author B of Genesis actually wrote that there were 4 sons and that Canaan was the 4th son.
What?
Not the kid of Ham.
Right.
Yeah, it's a bit nonsense. So they create a fake, they do the same thing with Q. They make a fake version of Genesis and then make that fit into their hypothesis and then say that's what happened.
I like when people divide Isaiah into 2, right? They're like, well, or actually, sometimes 4. I've seen anywhere from 2 to 4, like trito and quattro Isaiah. And it's like, what? And they're like, oh, the writing style. It's like, what?
So, this is the conspiracy theory behind Genesis, is that there are multiple sources behind the composition of Genesis, and they were merged together.
Well,
so this discrepancy is from the merging that supposedly happened that we have no evidence of.
Author 3 said the second wife of Adam was Lilith.
Yeah. Oh, so Jewish. Literally, that's actually from the Talmud. He married Lilith for a bit after Eve and him broke up for, I think it was either 130 days or 130 years.
So Canik, sorry, I was just gonna say
Adam and Eve got divorced in the Jewish sources.
I was just gonna say, Canik God, I don't think that Noah knew what a clean versus unclean animal was. I think that the Lord just had there be 7 of certain kinds of animals, and Noah just wasn't really clued into as to why. I mean, maybe he was, but I don't think the text demands that Noah knew what a clean versus unclean animal was. I think that just describes how it happened. I think that Moses is just using that as a helpful denominator between all the animals that had 7.
Like Yahweh just told him, hey, these animals take 7, these animals take 7, these animals take 7, those animals take 7.
Right.
So also, what did you call his name?
Who?
Him?
Oh, is it Canuck God? Canuck God? He's a
Interesting.
Canuck. He's from Canada.
Yeah, it's
He's a
Canada.
Canuck.
Yeah. Canuck.
Yeah.
It caught my ear whenever.
Oh, you mean
anyway.
because I stressed the A and not the U? Said
Yeah,
Canuck
you
and
went
not Canuck.
you went very not Canadian with it.
Shh.
Canada. Anyway. 2 creation stories, Genesis 1 versus Genesis 2.
It also matters because Noah did sacrifice some of the animals, so that was also another reason why. Anyways, Canuck.
Yeah.
Yes.
He did kill, in fact, some of the animals. A bit of all the clean animals, actually.
Yeah, Canuck. Yeah. Anyways, whatever. I'm American. Like the hockey team. 2 creation stories.
Genesis 1 versus Genesis 2. Do they contradict? No. What some people do say is like, oh, well, Adam was created first, and then vegetation, and then animals, and then the woman. That's not actually what it says. Yeah. That is not what it says. It's actually focused on the Garden of Eden specifically.
Right.
It's not even about creation. It's about a part of the 6th day where God made the Garden of Eden. That is different than the like taxonomical classes that he generated on the 6 days. You say all of Genesis 2 happened on the 6th day. You could say all of Genesis 2 happened after the 6th day, depending on how you read the creation story in Genesis 1. Whether or not he made Eve on the 6th day. That's up for debate.
That is up for debate.
It is entirely different, and there's no contradiction between the two, but it's an entirely different focus. One is focused, and he even brings up the fact that it's focused on human formation. It's not the same type of thing between one and the other, so comparing them as contradictions is kind of dumb. And they don't even contradict. It's crazy.
This is what people. We got.
Yeah, this is the best of the best.
What?
Does God forgive people? In 2 Kings 24:4, it says that the Lord was not willing to forgive, specifically regarding the sins of King Manasseh, who led Judah into idolatry and shed innocent blood. He was not willing to forgive it because this is not a sin forgivable under the law.
Right.
This is punishable
killing
by
kids,
death.
believe it or not. It's not forgivable.
Punishable by death under the law.
Right.
So God said he's not going to forgive his sins specifically. And then in Psalm 133.
Why does it just quote that part?
I know. He doesn't even quote the psalm here. He just says in this psalm, we see God is praised for forgiving iniquities and not treating humanity as their sin deserves. And he didn't treat Manasseh as his sin deserves because he let him live after he did something that was worthy of death.
Right.
He did something where the punishment of it was death. He did not die. Therefore, he did not punish him as his sin deserved. It's literally the fulfilling of Psalm 103 that he brings up here as a contradiction.
So
that doesn't even make sense.
The Septuagint translators were aboard of was it like 60 Jews before 70 Jews before
Jesus,
before Christ in like the
200s,
second century BC, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Second or third. So they were the ones, but they wouldn't have been the first translators of Hebrew to Greek. That would have been going on as long as Greek people had been in contact with Hebrew people. But
right,
that was
Jerome,
just commissioned. It was an organized effort by
right. For a commissioned scroll for the synagogues, that was at that time, but they had already started working on that before it.
So Jerome did the Vulgate,
which is Latin,
which is in Latin,
at 400 AD,
and it was pretty dope as well. the funny thing is that I thought it was interesting.
No, not one person was given credit.
No, not for translating the Septuagint.
No. Septuagint means the 70.
Yeah, they just honored the group that did it. But real quick, I'll be right back again.
So kind of stupid. Moving on.
Well,
how many items?
Read, keep, because it literally it solves its own problem. The contradiction deepens when we compare 2 Kings with 2 Chronicles. In the latter, 2 Chronicles 33:19, we learn that Manasseh eventually repented, humbling himself before God, who then restored him. So you literally just completely annihilated your own argument, because it's like with the whole will God visit the sin of the father on the children? It's of those who hate him that he does that. And who does God not forgive the sins of? Those who don't humble themselves and repent before God.
Yeah, so it's he also forgave the sins of Nineveh with Jonah.
Yeah, literally. He literally pronounced judgment against them, and then they repented. And then he said, all right, I won't judge you. And they weren't judged. Now,
yeah,
legend has it that didn't last for very long. But their debauchery stopped for a while.
Thank you, weapons training. Good night.
Good night, brother.
Yeah,
Andy is
very, very dumb.
Very dumb indeed.
Deus. For Andrew Thaddeus. Okay. This one just grinded my gears. So I skimmed through the first 10 or so of this list. There's 50 of them. I haven't seen all of them. How many items? Now this is all within Ezra 1, 9 through 10. Okay. 1,000 silver symbols, 29 knives, 30 golden cups, 410 silver cups, 1,000 other devices. This totals to 2,469 items. Yet Ezra in the next verse states the total number of vessels returned was 5,400.
Can we read that, Chris?
Yep. So, and Cyrus, king of Persia, had brought them out by the hand of Midrath, the treasurer, and he counted them out to Shashbazzar, the prince of Judah. Now, this was their number, 30 gold dishes, and specifically, he's bringing out the articles of the house of Yahweh. Are all the articles of the house of Yahweh made out of silver and gold? No, but, let's keep going. Now, this was the number. 30 gold dishes, 1,000 silver dishes, 29 duplicates, 30 gold bowls, 410 silver bowls of a second kind, 1,000 other articles. All the articles of gold and silver numbered 5,400. Sheshbazzar brought them all with the exiles who went up from Babylon to Jerusalem. So, unless you think he's an idiot that can't realize that he listed out half of the number of things that he lists here, maybe he just wasn't listing everything that he put out. The argument that they use is because he said 1,000, that implies all the vessels were accounted for. And it says it seems unlikely that he was including other things he didn't detail. You would have to assume the author of Ezra, was a complete idiot to not realize that half of this number was counted here. You have to be so disingenuous to the author of Ezra to make this into a contradiction. Or be so loose with your standard. But this is in his top 50 list of supposed contradictions. People are like, oh, well, why do you dog on Bar Ehrman? He's a great scholar.
410 silver bowls.
He allows this.
Of a second kind and 1,000.
The
1,000 other articles would have accounted for all of the other things, yet the next verse says that there are actually about 3,000 more things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it could just be referring to the bowls that it was talking about, the same kind of thing, second kind. I don't know. I mean, he's not an idiot.
Right. Now, I'm not sure exactly what he meant by these other 1,000 articles, if that was referring to bowls specifically, because this is in a list of bowls.
Bowls, yeah.
So you have gold bowls, silver bowls, and then 1,000 other articles within the same idea of these bowls.
Because you get
So you
get the dishes
bowl,
in verse 9, the bowls
and
in
then-
verse 10, and then you have the sum of all the articles.
Right. So this is a complete sentence. You can tell from these cantillation marks. This is a single sentence in the Hebrew. This is basically their ending paragraphs. That's why we have our verse delineation that we have. That's one idea. So it's all about bowls up until the very end.
1,000 other bowl-like articles.
Possibly.
Who knows?
And then all the articles being 5,400.
Also,
which is a round number in and of itself. And all these are round numbers. So this is likely not exact other than maybe that one. But
this is mentioning dishes, unless like it says duplicates actually means like knives or something. It doesn't actually mention any other kind of article. So it's not including those other kinds of articles, right?
Right. Again, in order for this to be a contradiction, you have to assume Ezra's an idiot.
Right.
Like, how low do you view ancient people? Like, this just, it really grinds my gears, especially like reading the physicians, which I did a bunch recently for the embryology video I put out. The physicians are significantly more competent and informed in 300 BC than the vast majority of people alive today. The vast majority of them. If you read Galen's works, he is so accurate on such a tiny object, it is mind-boggling. And he did it all through dissections. But his description of the womb in a female reproduction is so accurate that the names he invented for those objects are still the names we use today. It's not even Latin, it's Greek. We have Greek taxonomical terms for our body parts because the physicians were so accurate back then that he just got it right. Including the functions of so like there's a sac inside your body. Okay? Whenever you're an infant. Maybe not a sac. I don't know if I can actually show this on stream. This one looks fine. The umbilical cord starts out as a little sac, not actually attached to the woman. Instead of me doing this, I'm actually just going to pull it up from my Discord. That seems the safer option before I do something that YouTube doesn't like. So this one should be fine. Open. All right. This little sac here, or not, this little sac here, it is designed to capture the waste product of the baby in the first few days and weeks of the baby's existence before it gets fully attached to the woman and forms the umbilical cord. The yolk sac is what creates the nutrients for the baby for the first few days and weeks. The yolk sac eventually runs out, and this sac here, this becomes the umbilical cord, and then it does both. It filters both the waste product and the food product at the same time. So originally, this is attached to basically the rectum, and then that is attached to the stomach, and then this goes away, and that merges, and then it becomes one thing, the umbilical cord, which is pretty nifty, pretty cool. He knew the exact function, and he also named this thing, but he knew the exact function of it for the first 2 weeks of a fetus's development accurately, 300 BC, with terminology that would boggle your mind. And like, oh, these people are idiots. And I'm like, they didn't have Twitter to make them brain dead or TikTok. Like, these guys are significant. Like, the ancients are significantly more intelligent than we are. They didn't have as much knowledge and information to work from, but they were way more intelligent. It's so stupid.
Yeah, it's like why when we read like Aristotle and Plato and like all these philosophers as well, whose whose writings are still like held to such high regard and are still like the
Right.
basis of our psychological
Our
understanding.
civilization.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's I don't understand when people approach these conversations as if just because somebody existed back then, they were just a total idiot. It's like,
Yeah.
come on, be a bit more gracious than that.
Canuck God, I'm so thankful that you're from Calgary, and on behalf of anyone who's ever seen the movie, I'd like to thank you so much for Cool Runnings. Fantastic film.
Interesting. Never heard of it.
Cool Runnings
the city
or Calgary?
Both.
What? The movie about the Jamaican bobsled team.
Yeah, no.
So Calgary was the city in Canada in which the Winter Olympics of the 90s, whenever the Jamaican bobsled team.
Yeah.
Whenever the Jamaican
I've never watched an
bobsled
Olympics
team,
before.
Well, it's not. You don't have to know the Olympics all that well to understand the movie. It's a dramatized, slightly true story about a Jamaican bobsled team. 98 or 88, sorry, where the Jamaican bobsled team made their debut. So thank you so much for hosting Jamaican bobsled team. That has been your country's finest achievement thus far.
They're not native. I don't know.
Can you bring up VB Pop's platonic believed literacy made people's brains lazy? Listen, I'm not gonna say he was wrong. I think that's like a common theme, that the better we get at transferring information and storing information, the less we make our brains do.
Right.
Yeah.
Note taking is unfortunate for me. Sorry.
Like a lot of the way I utilize my brain for storing information is not nearly as detailed. I try to just give myself shortcuts. Like, I know where to go to get the right information. Like I am so bad. I can recite verses to you, but I would not necessarily get the exact number correct of like what chapter and verse it is. And that's just terrible on me. I've read it enough times. I could quote it to you word for word. I don't try to memorize the verse numbers just because I just haven't.
It's like
intellectually lazy.
Like subconsciously I have all this information, but like off the top of my head, whenever it comes to like arguments against Islam and Mormonism and stuff, I'm like, let me pull up my notes real quick. You know?
Yeah,
because it's just like I'm not gonna do this off the top of my head.
Why does everyone think I'm old, or why does everyone think I'm young? I don't know. Do I not match my age?
The beard helps. the beard helps. I had just looked at a video from like one of the first videos we all did together while I was on YouTube, and I was like, you were like almost clean shaven. I was like, oh wow, Chris looks very different here.
I'm 30. For everyone wondering, I'm 30 years old.
It comes for us all.
It approaches.
I'm the oldest one on panel at the moment.
We can't escape it.
The youngins here, you old soul. I know. They're the younger ones. So
I'm hanging on to my year in like 3 months before I'm 30.
They're stealing my youth.
Yeah, we're
using
it
for
away.
themselves, right? Okay. So Levite cities, 11 of 13, in First Chronicles. Again, this is just another time where you have to assume. So this irks me in two different ways. One, he uses the Hebrew numbering instead of the English numbering. Why? That just it's not those verses. It's verse like 60. So because the English Bible has significantly more verses. It's way down here. Why in the world is he using the Hebrew numbering in an academic work? No idea. Kind of stupid. Second off, he's making the same mistake again. He assumes that the author is too stupid to just count what they just said. I'm past it.
That is true, actually. I don't remember. I thought about this before, that kids today will be born with no only in a world that affected by AI, and I know no world without the internet.
Hey! I know a world without internet. I'm not that. No, I did not get internet till I was like 7. So,
well, you were in a world that was at least affected by the internet.
I mean, sure, but I also got internet extremely early. I mean, the internet didn't really become popular till like the mid 2000s, like when Chase was born.
Well, everybody thought Y2K was going to ruin the entire world, so I think it was pretty popular in the late 90s.
That was when the bubble was happening, but everyone kind of got over it pretty quick after the bubble. I remember the 70s. That sounds like a personal problem. So
why is
the
that
11
problem?
cities. 70s were off. I don't know. Hebron, Libnah, Jatir. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 cities. All their cities throughout their families were 13 cities. Why does Ezra, again, still Ezra, say that there were 11 cities by name, and yet there were 13 cities? Can he not count his own number of cities he just named? Again, you have to assume that he's an idiot in order for this to be a problem, especially because, as he brings up in Joshua, it has the same cities, but 2 additional ones. One thing to note, the names change for a few of them, but it's still the same cities, like Almon and Elmet, same city, slightly different naming. And Asian and Ishkan, same city. These 2 are new. So you have 13 cities.
New to Joshua's list.
In Joshua? Well, new to Joshua's list, but Joshua's list predates the other one.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's new to... It's not new. So
Yeah,
wait, you're
this
telling
one's,
me that this list of
excludes
13
those.
cities already exists, and Ezra's
Uh-huh.
just naming 11 of them because it's
And
important
then
for
it
what
says
he's
that they have
writing,
13.
and
Mhm.
then reminding the audience that they still have 13. That doesn't make any
13?
sense.
Yeah. Just because in Joshua, these 13 are providences denoted for them for eternity. So these are cities that they own, they have permanently. So he's like listing 11 of the cities. He has a name change for 2 of them, and then excludes another 2 because that's not the focus. Maybe those cities weren't like in purpose whenever he was writing it, but he still says that, yeah, they had 11 because he's read the Bible. Like, anyway.
What I'm saying is that, as a wise man once said, where there's 13, there's always 11.
It's true.
It's true.
Indeed. Yeah. Just like whenever there's 4 women, there's always at least one.
There's always one.
Yeah. This one is one of my favorites. So the prophetess Huldah and her family, a case of differing names. So in 2 Kings and 2 Chronicles, they differ on the names of the son and the daughter. His wife, the woman is the wife of Shalom. It's the same husband for both, but then she has a son of Tikva and a son of Haras. And then in Chronicles, it has a son of Tochat and Hasra. So these are the same letters, but slightly different. Now, Tcha would be different lettering of it. Can letters change over time, especially because Second Kings is written several hundred years before Second Chronicles? Can the names change between the older text and the newer text and then talk about the same person? Yes. The Bible does this explicitly in a variety of places. My favorite one is Joshua, son of Nun, in, I believe, Jeremiah. Let's see. Let me bring that up. Oh, Nehemiah. I made a video on this as well, but there are 4 books that have Yeshua in it as a name of a priest. But this one actually has Yeshua, for all those who can read Hebrew. This is Yod, Shen, Vav, Ayin. That is not how you spell Joshua. You're missing 2 letters. Or I guess you're missing 1 letter technically. It'd be Yod, He, Vav. So this should be over here. And then the Shin and then the Ayin. That is Yehoshua. That's Joshua. Joshua, literally Ben Nun. So this is the same person. This is Joshua, son of Nun. This is the leader after Moses. His name is spelled differently in Nehemiah around the same time that Ezra is writing as well. So Ezra and Nehemiah both changed the name of historical figures. Nehemiah's figure is even older than the other figures, but they are changing the spelling of the name. This spelling is very different. It's missing a letter, and then this letter is moved over 2 spaces. So, why is this still Joshua? Well, because the name was spelled different hundreds of years later. It's also about Jesus' name. This is Jesus' name. This is literally, if you were to translate this from Hebrew into English, it would say Jesus, the son of Nun. So, what do you do with it? Now, I would say that this is actually divine providence, that the name Joshua got converted to the name salvation. I think that's pretty awesome. I made a whole video on that. You should check it out. It's a pretty good video.
That's a really fun thing about Eusebius's church history is some time he spends talking about how, like, Jesus being the new Moses, and how understanding that Moses literally his lineage was Jesus, Joshua, but Iesus in the Greek, which was Jesus. And it's like, it's intentional. Eusebius was like, it's there for a reason. It was very intentional.
Yep. But it's born in 2007, and you're an adult now. I was in middle school.
Yeah, it's crazy. I actually might read Eusebius's church history again. That was a good read.
Oh, I forgot this earlier. Reexamined asked, what about our Discord? I have a Discord that's public. If you become a member on my channel, you're currently watching on Sons of Thunder. They also have a Discord, but I don't know if they
currently
we do
anything with
completely
it.
dead.
It technically exists, but no one's posted on it since March.
We pretty much just use the Defending Alliance Discord.
You just use my Discord.
We've just been hanging out in there.
Yeah.
We have not done a whole lot of
Well, it's hard to when there's no one else there to talk to.
Yeah, we don't really promote it though either.
No, we don't. We used to include it in the descriptions, and then we stopped.
That's how I joined it. Actually, I went back to your old videos and saw it. I was like, oh, that's fun. If you want to join a Discord, you can become a member of my channel, and then you can talk to me and them. So
we'll be there.
Feel free. $5 a month, but supports the ministry and helps me not do this, or helps me do this full time. And
I'll
not
check it.
Yeah. Okay. Passover celebrations of. Oh, we can also end whenever you guys want.
Yeah,
about like 3 hours in.
I was gonna say
There's
we should probably
50 of
wrap up
these.
pretty soon. I'm trying.
Yeah, let me see if there's another fun
I
one.
mean, I might just dip if you guys are gonna keep going.
Oh, I was also about to wrap up.
Yeah.
All right, let me see if there's another one that I really enjoy. Oh, I love all these ones where like the witnesses give slightly different renderings of the wording and things. Like, oh well, it can't be actually harmonized anyway. It's like, well, a lot of the times they just straight up can. The genealogy of Jesus. There you go. That's a fun one.
Isn't
Man.
it just because one's Mary and one's Joseph?
Yep, my opinion, Matthew is Mary because
Matthew's Mary.
Actually, I can just go through that real quick. Well, that's not the standard view. The standard view is that it is Mary is Luke and Matthew is not Luke. Luke is Joseph. Luke is Mary, Matthew is Joseph. I don't think that can work. We can actually end on this, I guess. I'm on Discord, but I'm too broke to get a membership. You could ask Jack Ray to donate subs. You might get it. Anyway, so the book of genealogy of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Abraham was the father of Isaac. Isaac was the father of Jacob. Jacob was the father of Judah and brothers Judah, Tamar, Perez, Hezron, Ram, Aminadab, Nahshon, Salmon, Boaz, Obed, Jesse, David. So you have 14 names here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 names here. Checks out. Great. So then you have Solomon, Rehoboam, Abijah, 1, 2. So just count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 names. Works out. Great. He actually drops 3 names here in order to make it 14. So there's actually 17 generations here, and he makes it into 14 by dropping out the 3 kings that were not a part of the covenant. Then you have another group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Wait, 13? But then in verse 17, it says that there's 14 generations from Abraham to David. There's 14 generations from David to Babylon, and there's 14 generations from Babylon to Jesus. Why are there only 13 names in the last group of people when he says explicitly that there are 14 names?
Did you forget to highlight Jacob? Oh, no, you didn't. Nope. You did it the second time. Yep. Yeah, you're good.
You have to count Mary.
Yep.
Mary is included in the 14 generations. Why? My position would be that this is her lineage. And also this would make more sense for the blood relation because it's a blood covenant through Solomon. So because Solomon is in this genealogy and not in Luke's, that would make more sense for the prophecy, the covenant with Solomon specifically, that his blood would be where the Messiah comes through, that it would be Mary being this genealogy and not Joseph because he's not actually related to Joseph. Well, so because this doesn't work with the numbers and because he's a blood relative of Solomon, I would say this would be more Mary's genealogy.
So my only problem is that would make Mary descended from Jeconiah. And right. Because of the curse,
which is why it's removed right here. So it's actually not necessarily Jeconiah. It is Josiah's son. So Jeconiah is his great-great-grandson. There's 3 generations removed. He says between 3 generations,
between Josiah.
Yeah.
Right. But
so he drops out the 3 generations that were part of the curse. Specifically.
No, the curse of the curse of Jeconiah was after Jeconiah. It was from Jeconiah down.
That there would no longer be a king from him.
Right, yeah.
But the fathers that were cursed were the ones after Josiah.
Where does the curse of Jeconiah happen?
This is a really neat detail, actually.
Yeah.
Whenever you go through the genealogies. The fact that this is 14 and the fact that it's not actually 14, but the fact that he removed those 3 to make it 14 is pretty neat. 14 is important because that's the number of David. So the value of David's numbers for the Dalet, the Vav, and the Dalet is 14. So it's 4 plus 6 plus 4. So the reason why it's 14 here is because that's literally the number David. So it's David, you could write, which is kind of fun. So 14 is representative of David, and God just so happened to have it to where this is 14 generations here. And he specifically chose Abraham to David because that is 14. And then from David to Josiah is 13, and then you omit 3, then you have Jeconiah. Then you have these other ones that you have to include Mary to actually have it be 14. So either he can't count, and he just gets that wrong, but there's 14 generations here, or Mary has to be included. Interestingly, the way later Hebrew manuscript of Matthew actually has the father of Mary here, not the husband. The Greek all have it as the husband, but the Hebrew there has it as the father of. So Joseph would be the name of Mary's dad, not also the name of Mary's husband. So she would have a dad named Joseph, a husband named Joseph, and a son named Joseph. And Joseph was the most common name of Jews at the time. So that wouldn't be a crazy thing. So, little tidbit.
Write this, yeah, it says in Jeremiah 22:30, thus says Yahweh, write this man down childless, a man who will not succeed in his days, for no man of his seed will succeed sitting on the throne of David or ruling again in Judah.
Yeah.
So that's why I would say that this is Joseph, because it's not David, because he's not of Joseph's seed.
Right, but then you run into the problem with the covenant to Solomon.
I don't think so. I don't think your interpretation is necessarily correct on that one.
Of the covenant to Solomon?
Yes, you want to. We can read it if you like. The covenant is so. There's the covenant to David where he says, "I will set up, a king from you, everlasting. His kingdom will be forever, and his peace and all that stuff." But so that was given to David. But then the Solomonic covenant,
he reinforces it with Solomon in the next chapter.
1 Kings. Is it 1 Kings 2?
1 Kings 9?
You said 9?
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
Now, when Solomon had completed building the house of Yahweh, the king's house, and all, as Solomon desired to do, that Yahweh appeared to Solomon a second time, and he appeared to him at Gibeon. And Yahweh said to him, I have heard your prayer and your supplication, which you have made before me. I have set apart as holy this house which you have built, by putting my name there forever, and my eyes and my heart will be there perpetually. As for you, if you will walk before me as your father David walked, in integrity of the heart and uprightness, do according to all that I have commanded you, and will keep my statutes and judgments, then I will establish the throne of your kingdom over Israel forever, just as I promised to David, to your father David, saying, you shall not have a man cut off from the throne of Israel. But if you or your sons indeed turn away from me, from following me, and do not keep my commandments and my statutes, which I have given before you, and go and serve other gods and worship them, then I will cut off Israel from the land which I have given them, and the house which I have set apart as holy for my name I will cast out of my presence, so Israel will become a proverb and a byword among all the peoples, which they still, like, imagine that, like, the Jews are used as an insult.
It's true.
And it still is. That's crazy. And this house will become a heap of ruins. Everyone who passes by will feel desolate and hiss and say, why has Yahweh done this to the land and to this house? They will say, because they forsake Yahweh, their God, and brought their fathers out of the land of Egypt, and they took their other gods, worshiped them and served them, therefore he always brought all this calamity on them.
So let me just see where it says, if you want to me as David, all that I've commanded, establish your kingdom just as I promised to your father David. Where's that at? Where is his promise, covenant with David?
Right here.
I think it says so. It's I think it's got the little annotation there.
What?
where is the Lord's original promise to David that he hearkens back to, like found in the scripture elsewhere?
I have that in here.
2 Samuel 7. Yeah, 2 Samuel 7. 2 Samuel 7. So he wants to build the Lord a house. And the Lord says, no. Days are fulfilled and you lie down with your fathers. When your days are fulfilled and you lie down with your fathers, I will raise up one of your seed after you who will come forth from your own body, and I will establish his kingdom. So that's talking about Solomon. He shall build a house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. Not talking about Solomon.
That is talking about Solomon.
So
he shall build a house for my name. That's the temple.
Right.
Yeah.
And I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever.
That's Solomon.
Solomon. Pretty sure it's Solomon.
And I will be a father to him, and he will be my son to me. When he commits iniquity, I will reprove him with the rod of men and the strikes from the sons of men. But my loving kindness shall not be removed from him, and as I removed it from Saul, whom I removed from you. And your house and your kingdom shall endure before me forever. Your throne shall be established forever. According to all these words and according to all this vision, so Nathan spoke to David. So this is the covenant for Solomon specifically to come through. And that is obviously the Messianic covenant as well.
It is interesting. I will say this. It is interesting that he says he will establish the throne of his kingdom forever.
Mm-hmm.
And not necessarily his lineage like he promises to David. He says, I will raise up one of your seed, right? He's talking about Solomon.
Yep.
And he promises this to Solomon, but in Kings, he says, hey, I will do all these things for you if you continue in this way. And we know Solomon didn't exactly continue.
For his sons. Well, he says explicitly that he will not remove it from Solomon. So I will not remove from him as I did with Saul. So Solomon is past that, but his sons are not.
It says, but my loving kindness shall not be removed from him.
That's fair. We also have in Romans 3 that he was born of the seed of David. This would be a reference to that passage.
I have to do more looking into this. I know there was a reason.
Right. I mean, that argument does come up for the curse. I do think the fact that it's removed from Matthew 1 for those three individuals specifically is God actually showing that the curse was honored.
Yeah, it's interesting, Chase. Your dad went through this whole thing with me before.
He did, yeah, and I'm gonna have to ask him again.
Yeah,
but
because I
don't think it makes much sense for it to be Luke for Mary myself.
Personally, I think that God did not remove Solomon the way he did Saul when Solomon committed so many bad things in,
idolatry and all that craziness.
I think the reason he didn't is because Solomon, I think, is meant to be a type of Christ,
so
where everything.
David.
Well, and what I mean by that is that Solomon is showing what the kingdom looks like, but all the ways are flawed. So, like everything that tries to be established under Solomon, it's like you get a glimpse of what it's supposed to be, but then you come back to the reality of understanding Solomon is flawed. And though he is so Jesus literally is wisdom. Solomon is given all wisdom, but even when he's given the wisdom, he still fails because there's still a heart problem. And so you see like the way the Davidic kingdom is supposed to be set up, but it's constantly failing because Solomon is still corrupted flesh. He's not redeemed. So I still think that the reason that God kept him on the throne was to give the full image of what the kingdom is supposed to look like, even though we only see it in glimpses and we don't get to see the full picture. But anyways, it's time to go to sleep.
Good to wrap up now.
Yeah.
Well, fellas, this was fun.
It was good. Good little break from our Islam, Mormonism, apologetics class grind.
Yeah. I think my faith was successfully shaken by one Bart Ehrman and whatever that first guy's name was.
Yeah, well, it was not technically Bart Ehrman. It was a contributor to Bart Ehrman's website.
A Bart Ehrman approved PhD holder.
Marco Marina PhD.
Marco.
Yeah. Who then came up with like, you know, you put your best foot forward, and his first one was the earth does not last forever.
Right.
And then the two animals on the ark, I'm like, my guy. This is your top 50.
That has to be one of the worst I've ever heard.
Top 50 best arguments against the Bible that he's putting forward. And that was included in it. Yeah. Nonsense. Anyway. If you like this type of content, you can check out my streams on Monday because we just go through the Bible. We're going through John at the moment. The last couple of weeks have been pretty based. A lot of fun. We may or may not do a call-in stream on Friday together. I think you guys are going to do a call-in stream no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
I may or may not be joining for that as well.
Sweet.
So
that'd be great. Man.
Tomorrow I'm going to be on with Israel Horowitz on his channel, and I think also my channel. So I'll be streaming tomorrow with a Jew.
Talking about the Talmudic dilemma, right?
Yes, we're going to be talking about the Talmud and the Quran because he started reading the Quran. He texted me. He's like, "Hey, Chris, you want to talk about the Quran? I've been reading it. I've noticed some contradictions." And I was like, "My guy, you're not prepared for the Quran."
Had you been on with Israel before?
Yeah, like 4 times. We done
that's the guy who went on with Ash, and they debate like rabbinic Jews all the time, right?
Yep.
Because he's like what?
I met him
like Noahide? Not Noahide.
No, he is a Torah only Jew.
Torah only. Right.
Yeah. Right. So he's not. And so there is a sect of Judaism that is basically Torah only Jews, but he's not that. I forgot the name of it right now, but I'm sure someone will correct me. Karaite. He's not a Karaite Jew.
Karaite, but okay, so he's not Karaite. Okay.
He's not Karaite. So Karaites reject the prophets, and they accept they reject the prophets to a lower dimension, and they accept the Torah, and then they reject all of rabbinic Judaism. He is not that. He rejects the oral tradition. He counts the Torah as the primary text, and he believes in the prophets. And he doesn't, and like Karaites also have some particular practices that he doesn't subscribe to as well. So he's not a Karaite. He's close to a Karaite, but not quite a Karaite. And then remember, me, him, and Ash did a stream together, and Ash was like, brother, there's been many great Christian brothers who were started Orthodox. They went to Karaite, and they came to Christ. It's been fun. So Ash has been kind of nudging him on. We did a bunch of streams together, and then I showed him Jesus claiming to be God. He's like, Jesus never claimed to be God. I was like, he claimed to be the Son of Man of Daniel 7. And we read that together, and he's like, well, I guess, I don't have to accept Daniel as authoritative. And I was like, oh, all right. But after that, he's been more receptive to Jesus, like claiming to be God and all that. So I'm like,
was Israel at one time rabbinic and then became Torah observant? Okay.
Torah only. Yeah.
Or yeah, Torah only.
Yeah, he's always been Torah observant. Well, as Torah observant as rabbinic Jews are, he's always been that. But now he's only Torah observant. So he's dropped the other additional things that are not needed and corrupt the text.
I really like him. I like his the way he put the Sabbath. So like he was talking to a Jew, and he put the Sabbath in like such plain and simple words, and I really appreciated it. He's like, what does it mean to rest on the Sabbath? Don't go to work. those were his words, and I was like, that sounds good to me. That seems like what it says. He was like, Don't go to your job. Don't sit down. Don't clock in. Don't go to work.
Literally what it means. Yeah.
That's just what it says. Why can't you
People go crazy about it.
why can't you help your buddy out? Why can't I go help my friend on the Sabbath? Why do you make this stuff up? Why?
Yeah.
Like a hyper legalistic view of what is work.
Yeah, like
Well,
well,
so stupid, dude.
what is work? You know, turning on a light switch, right? You're creating
you-
a fire.
Right.
If you
With
say
electricity.
yes, if God were to offer salvation as a gift and you said yes, you saying yes is a work.
Did you know
Same thing.
that
Same context
in
applies.
Israel there are Sabbath compliant elevators that they use? It's a real thing. Like what on earth?
Yep.
There's
It's not just
elevators
Israel.
you take.
It's a bunch of places in the world that have that. Yeah.
I'm sure, but like,
Do you know how it
I didn't-
works?
No,
Okay, yeah. So at night, the elevators in certain heavily Jewish areas run 24/7, and they stop at every floor. So they're going up, ding, 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 ding. They hit the top, and they go back down, ding, 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 ding. So because a Jew doesn't have to push a button, it's not considered starting a fire. You're just walking into a box that moves, and then you're walking out of a box that moves.
Okay.
You're not breaking the Sabbath. So you just
I
wait. You go to
guess.
every floor in the elevator,
Right.
and then you get off when you need, and then you get back on. And you just wait. It's a very
easier
long
than taking
process.
the stairs at sometimes.
I guess, yeah. So you just do that.
You're
Um,
just
you
taking
can't carry
advantage.
things. So you can't carry heavy things either on the Sabbath. That's also work. So you can't take the stairs.
So, man, it's a good thing. Wow. There was also like this. I remember this one guy who went on whenever. Oh, we got to go to bed. I'm done talking now. Good night, everybody. I can't. I gotta go.
I could talk about the Jewish laws for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll blink and it'll be at the hour markers at 4 hours. It's like,
Right,
oh my gosh.
All right. Any last words?
Nope.
Good night. Good night, everybody.
We're proud of that.
May the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with you always. Check out the streams we're gonna do the rest of the week. And my video coming out. I don't know if you guys have videos coming out, but thank you for coming out, interacting. Hopefully you learned something. It wasn't just a hangout session, but those are good too. Goodbye.